Have you ever looked at the Costco bakery section and wondered which items are actually worth buying? Not everything that's popular is as good as people claim, and there are also a few hidden gems that don't get enough attention. Today, we're going through a ranked list of the most loved items at the Costco bakery, from lowest to highest, so you'll know exactly what's worth trying and what you can skip. Take 3 seconds to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. 15. Plain bagels. Costco's plain bagels are a basic, practical choice when you want something quick, convenient, and available in bulk. The flavor is fine, totally edible, but there's nothing particularly special or standout about them compared to bagels from dedicated bakeries. The texture is dense, the flavor is mild, and they work best for simple breakfasts, spreading cream cheese, making a deli sandwich, or grabbing one with your morning coffee when you're in a rush. Their biggest strength is convenience. If you like buying in bulk, want something you can freeze and use gradually, or are already at Costco and don't want to stop at another store, these bagels make sense. Just toast them to warm them up, add your favorite spread, and you've got an easy breakfast. But if you're hoping for a bagel with a crisp outer crust, a softer interior, a richer aroma, and that fresh-baked quality, your local bagel shop will almost always do it better. Costco's bagels are simply good enough. Convenient, easy to buy, but not the kind of item you'd make a special trip just to get. 14. Mantecada muffins. Costco's mantecada muffins look great. Golden, fluffy, and lightly buttery. But the flavor doesn't quite deliver the same rustic charm as the traditional versions sold at Mexican bakeries. Because they're made on an industrial scale, the texture is still soft, but the taste isn't very distinctive. You'll get a mild buttery sweetness, but not that signature depth many people love in classic mantecadas. One drawback is the added preservatives that extend shelf life. It's convenient if you're buying a multi-pack, but it also makes the flavor feel less natural. On top of that, the calorie and fat content are pretty high, so if you prefer a lighter breakfast, this might not be the best option. That said, if you enjoy soft, mildly sweet pastries and need something quick to eat with milk or coffee in the morning, Costco's mantecada muffins will get the job done. They fall into the easy-to-buy, easy-to-eat category, especially when you're feeding several people. 13. Braided apple strudel. Costco's braided apple strudel is one of those items people often walk past, but it's actually worth trying if you like light, easy-to-eat pastries. The braided crust bakes up nicely, especially if you warm it in the oven or air fryer, with a lightly crispy texture. The apple filling is mildly sweet, slightly gooey, and has a gentle cinnamon aroma that makes the whole thing comforting and enjoyable. Think of it like a more convenient grab-and-go version of an apple pie. A box comes with 8 pieces, each a good size for breakfast, an afternoon snack, or a simple dessert when guests come over. It's also very budget-friendly given how many pastries you get, especially around the holidays when people want extra treats to put on the table. The sweetness level is on the higher side, so if you're not into sweet pastries, you might want to skip it. But paired with vanilla ice cream or a drizzle of caramel, this becomes a great option for anyone who enjoys a rich, fragrant pastry. If you prefer something lighter, simply warming it and enjoying it with tea or coffee is more than enough. 12. Baguette. Costco's baguette is a great option for anyone who likes simple, easy-to-eat bread that pairs well with dinner. The crust has a light crisp, and the inside is soft and airy, the kind of classic baguette you can use as is or turn into a variety of dishes. If you're making pasta or soup or need something to dip into sauces, this baguette does the job perfectly. Its biggest strength is convenience. Just bring it home, slice it, warm it for a few minutes, and you've got a fresh, fragrant loaf ready for the table. When you're feeding a large family or hosting a small gathering, the long baguette shape is also practical and saves time. That said, compared to baguettes from artisan bakeries, Costco's version does fall a bit short in aroma, and that signature light chew. Because it's mass-produced, the flavor is consistent but not especially remarkable. So, if you're looking for something extra fresh, deeply wheat-fragrant, and with a more crackly crust, your local bakery will likely deliver a better experience. 11. Mini chocolate chip cookies. Costco's mini chocolate chip cookies are small, lightly crisp, and easy to snack on. Perfect for moments when you want something sweet but not too heavy. The flavor is well balanced, moderately sweet and buttery, with a slight saltiness that rounds everything out. Even though they're crisp cookies, they're not hard or dry. They crumble nicely and feel more pleasant to eat than many packaged cookies. Because of their small size, you can enjoy a few without feeling overloaded with sugar. They're great for kids, afternoon snacks, or serving guests when you need something simple that most people will like. If you want a twist, just warm them slightly to soften the chocolate or pair them with a cold glass of milk. Their strongest advantage is convenience. They're easy to share, easy to store, and suitable for many situations, whether you're prepping snacks for the family or keeping a quick treat in the pantry. They're not an overwhelmingly special item, but they're reliable, enjoyable, and worth buying whenever you want a grab-anytime cookie that works for everyone. 10. Cinnamon Pull-Apart. Costco's Cinnamon Pull-Apart is the kind of item that makes people stop as they walk by the bakery section. The cinnamon aroma fills the whole area. At first glance, it looks like one large pastry topped with a light layer of icing. But once you pull apart the pieces, it has all the qualities of a soft, moist, sweet cinnamon roll. When warmed for a few minutes, the icing melts slightly into the bread, making each bite even softer and easier to enjoy. The flavor is sweet but not overwhelmingly sugary, rich enough to feel indulgent yet not heavy. It's a great pick for weekend breakfasts, afternoon treats, or sharing when guests come over. Many people like pairing it with coffee or tea because the balance between the sweetness and the cinnamon makes it feel lighter. Its convenience is another plus. You can pull it apart by hand with no knife needed, and each piece is soft and evenly coated with icing and cinnamon. However, if you're not used to sweet pastries, you might find it a bit rich, so it's best enjoyed warm and in smaller portions. Overall, the cinnamon pull-apart hits that just right spot. Simple, comforting, easy to serve, and satisfying. It's not the kind of item you'll buy every Costco trip, but it's perfect when you want something soft, warm, fragrant, and reminiscent of a classic cinnamon roll. 9. Triple Flavor Cookie Combo. Costco's Triple Flavor Cookie Combo feels a lot more fun and convenient than a standard box of cookies. You get 3 varieties in one pack: chocolate chunk, double nuts, and oatmeal, each with its own flavor profile. This makes it easy for everyone in the family or friend group to pick something they like. It's also why this combo is a popular choice for gatherings, parties, or anytime you need a quick snack to share. The texture is consistently good, slightly crisp on the outside and soft and moist on the inside. The chocolate chunk has large chocolate pieces for a richer flavor. The double nuts cookie has a buttery, nutty bite, and the oatmeal cookie is the lightest and easiest to eat. Warm them up for a few minutes and all 3 taste even better, especially the chocolate chunk, as the chocolate begins to melt. The biggest advantage of this combo is variety. If you don't want a huge box of just one flavor or need something that suits multiple preferences, this is a safe bet. They're easy to pair too. Eat them as is, serve with vanilla ice cream for a quick dessert, or pack a few cookies for work or school. 8. Sheet Cake. Costco's sheet cake is widely known as the safe and effective choice when you need a cake for a crowd. The large size, simple decoration, and budget-friendly price make it a go-to option for birthdays, family gatherings, and small events. At around $20 for a cake that serves dozens, it's almost impossible to find a better deal elsewhere. The flavor is reliably good. A soft cake layer with sweet but balanced frosting that most people enjoy. It's not fancy, not overly rich, and not meant to be. The goal is a cake that everyone can eat without complaints. This makes hosting easier because you don't have to worry about who likes what. Another major plus is convenience. You can walk up to the bakery and grab a ready-made cake or place an order if you want a custom message. Because Costco makes these in large batches, they're almost always available the same day, perfect when you're in a hurry. Of course, if you're looking for a multi-tier cake, special fillings, or elaborate designs, a specialty bakery will do better. But when you need a big cake that's affordable, easy to serve, and perfectly presentable for any party, Costco's sheet cake almost always delivers the best value. 7. Tuxedo Chocolate Mousse Cake. Costco's Tuxedo. Chocolate mousse cake is one of those desserts that impresses the moment you slice into it. The cake is built in layers, a soft brownie base, alternating layers of dark and white chocolate mousse, and a glossy chocolate ganache on top. When you eat it, the layers blend together smoothly, rich in chocolate flavor but not as heavy as many traditional chocolate cakes. Its biggest strength is the texture. The mousse is light, soft, and easy to eat, while the brownie layer adds structure without making the cake overly sweet. Even people who usually avoid rich desserts can enjoy a slice without feeling overwhelmed. The size is just right too, typically serving around 10 people, which makes it ideal for small parties or for sharing. Compared to chocolate mousse cakes from specialty bakeries, Costco's version offers strong value, consistent flavor, and broad appeal. Just keep it chilled until serving. No extra decorating needed. It already looks polished enough to put straight on the table. 6. Cheese and cherry pastry. Costco's cheese and cherry pastry has a nicely balanced flavor, especially if you enjoy desserts that mix light creaminess with a bit of fruit. The pastry itself is soft and slightly fluffy, while the cheese filling is smooth, lightly sweet, and not heavy at all. Paired with the cherry center, the overall flavor becomes even more balanced. A little tartness to cut the richness, making it easy to eat even if you're not usually a fan of cheese pastries. This pastry works especially well for breakfast or brunch. A quick warm-up makes the filling softer, the aroma stronger, and the fruit flavor blend more naturally with the pastry. It also looks great on the table when you have guests, colorful, appealing, and ready to serve without any extra decoration. One of its biggest strengths is that it isn't overly sweet. Many pastries in this category tend to be on the sugary side, but Costco's version stays moderate, so you can finish a whole piece without feeling weighed down. That said, if you prefer pastries that are very tangy or very rich, this one leans toward the gentle, crowd-friendly side. Overall, the cheese and cherry pastry is a solid pick if you want something easy to eat, suitable for many people, and versatile for different situations. A fast breakfast, a light dessert, or a grab-and-go snack on a workday. It's not the most outstanding item in the bakery, but it's definitely worth trying if you enjoy soft, creamy pastries with a touch of fruit. 5. Kirkland Cheesecake. Costco's Kirkland Cheesecake is one of the most reliable desserts you can bring home when you have guests or need a no-fail option. It's thick, smooth, and sturdy, with a slightly crisp crust that adds nice balance to each bite. The sweetness is moderate, the cream cheese flavor is rich but not heavy, and even people who don't usually like cheesecake can enjoy a slice comfortably. What people love most is its consistency. No matter when you buy it, the texture is nearly the same every time. Soft, moist, not dry, and not overly dense. You can enjoy it plain or dress it up with strawberry jam, blueberry compote, or fresh fruit for a fresher, brighter flavor. Considering its size and price, it's a great value for family gatherings, small parties, or as a dessert to bring when you're invited to dinner. It's also extremely versatile. You can pre-slice and freeze it, then thaw a piece whenever you need a quick dessert. If you want to get creative, use it as a base for dessert cups or pair it with whipped cream for a different texture and flavor experience. 4. Chocolate mini cakes. Costco's chocolate mini cakes are small, but feel much richer and more satisfying than a typical cupcake. The size is modest, yet the cake itself is dense and moist, topped with a generous layer of chocolate frosting. Together, they taste like a mini slice of chocolate cake, full flavor in a compact portion. The cake is soft and moist without being crumbly, and the frosting is smooth and sweet but not overwhelming, perfect for anyone who loves chocolate without wanting something overly heavy. They're incredibly convenient when you need a quick dessert for a family dinner or a small birthday, or just want something sweet on hand after meals. Each box usually comes with 6 cakes, easy to share without cutting, plating, or decorating. Just open the box and set them out. They already look appealing enough on their own. For an even better experience, chill them slightly to firm up the frosting, or leave them at room temperature if you prefer a softer bite. The chocolate flavor is balanced, not too bitter, not too sugary, making them a safe, crowd-pleasing choice even for kids. Chocolate mini cakes might not be something you buy every trip, but they're a dependable dessert when you want something easy, shareable, and consistently satisfying. Whether for a casual dinner or a small celebration, these mini cakes do their job well. 3. Pumpkin pie. Costco's pumpkin pie shows up right on time every holiday season and quickly becomes the go-to choice for many families because it's both convenient and a real time saver. It's large, generously filled, and has that classic aroma of pumpkin, cinnamon, and warm spices that immediately brings in the holiday feeling. When sliced, the filling is smooth, moist, and mildly sweet, much easier to enjoy than many homemade versions or pies from smaller bakeries. What people appreciate most is its consistency. Year after year, the flavor barely changes, so you don't have to worry about the hit-or-miss experience you might get elsewhere. This is especially useful when preparing a big holiday table, and you just want a reliable dessert without extra work. The price is also very reasonable for its size, big enough for a whole family or a gathering. If you want to dress it up, serve it with whipped cream or vanilla ice cream. It also freezes well, so you can buy it early and avoid the holiday rush. Just thaw it properly, and the flavor stays nearly the same. 2. Croissant. Costco's croissants are one of those items that easily jump into your cart because the price is almost too good to pass up, especially for a 12-pack baked fresh daily. They're big enough for the whole family, with extras to freeze for later. The outer layer is lightly crisp with thin, visible layers, while the inside is soft and buttery. They're not as rich as croissants from a French bakery, but they're easy to eat and work well for all kinds of breakfasts. The best part is their versatility. You can eat them plain, spread butter or jam, make egg and bacon breakfast sandwiches, or turn them into a sweeter treat by adding a bit of chocolate and reheating. A few minutes in the oven or air fryer brings back the warm, flaky texture as if they were just baked. They're also great when hosting a morning gathering or when you want ready-to-go baked goods for busy days. If you can't finish the whole batch quickly, just divide them into freezer bags and store them. When needed, thaw and warm them. They're nearly as good as new. 1. Blueberry muffins. Costco's blueberry muffins are among the most well-loved items because their flavor is balanced and universally appealing. The top is slightly crisp, while the inside is soft, moist, and fragrant with both blueberries and warm bakery notes. The muffins contain a generous amount of blueberries, so you get that mild tartness mixed with sweetness, keeping them from feeling heavy or overly sugary. Their biggest strength is their size and texture. One muffin is enough for a quick breakfast or an easy grab-and-go snack. Warm them for a few seconds to make them even softer, and the blueberries almost melt into the cake for a smoother bite. Some people like slicing them open and adding salted butter or honey for a twist. The price per dozen is very reasonable, making them great for family sharing or stocking up. If you don't finish them right away, pop them into the freezer. When thawed, they keep their soft, moist texture very well. That makes them convenient for all kinds of situations: busy mornings, afternoon snacks, or a simple dessert. Choosing baked goods at Costco can feel overwhelming because there are so many options. But once you know which items truly deliver, you save both time and money. Products that are consistent, easy to enjoy, and versatile, like croissants, cheesecake, and blueberry muffins, tend to offer the best value. Next time you visit the bakery, pick the items that match your needs instead of buying on impulse, and you'll notice the difference right away. If this video helped you, hit subscribe so we can reach 30,000 subscribers. You may have been to Costco hundreds of times, but the bakery section still hides plenty of secrets that most members never notice. From turning a basic sheet cake into a super affordable wedding cake, to tricks that keep your croissants crisp and fresh, to baked goods that show up for a few weeks and then disappear, all of these can help you save money, cut waste, and bring home the items that are truly worth it. And in today's list, you'll discover simple but incredibly useful secrets to get the most out of Costco's bakery. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. 1. Costco Bakery has a seasonal menu. One of the most interesting things about Costco's bakery is that the menu changes with the seasons, and if you're not paying attention, there's a good chance you'll miss items that appear for only a few weeks before disappearing for the rest of the year. Many regular shoppers admit they have a seasonal favorite, and when the right time comes around, they rush to the store out of fear it will sell out. It makes each Costco visit feel like a small treasure hunt. You never know whether you'll find your usual favorite or something completely new. For example, in the fall, the giant pumpkin pie is practically the bakery's superstar. In the winter, peppermint bark and holiday-themed chocolate desserts take over. Spring and summer bring lighter options like tiramisu, fruit cheesecakes, lemon loaf, and other cakes perfect for outdoor gatherings. These items aren't always on the shelves, and that rotation is exactly what keeps Costco's bakery exciting. The seasonal menu also helps customers get excellent prices on items that would typically cost more elsewhere. Because Costco produces these baked goods in huge quantities during peak demand, many bakery items are significantly cheaper than what you'd find at regular grocery stores or local bakeries. 2. How to properly store Costco muffins. If you've ever bought muffins from Costco, you already know one thing: they're delicious, they're huge, and there's no way to finish them all before they start drying out. A box of 12 sounds reasonable, but in reality, each Costco muffin is nearly the size of 2 regular muffins. That's why knowing how to store them correctly helps you enjoy every bite without wasting any. The simplest, yet most overlooked trick is to freeze them as soon as you get home, especially if you know your family won't finish them within a few days. Just wrap each muffin in a zip bag or place them in an airtight container, then freeze. Frozen muffins retain moisture extremely well and won't become crumbly or dry the way they do when left on the counter too long. When you're ready to eat one, simply let it thaw at room temperature, and you'll get a soft, fragrant muffin almost like it was freshly bought. If you want to warm it up quickly, you can use the microwave, but make sure to set it at 50% power. This part is crucial. Using full power will cause the edges to harden or the center to dry out. Gentle heat warms the muffin evenly while keeping its original softness. If you prefer your muffins slightly warmer and more aromatic, add another 5 to 10 seconds. A small tip for families with young kids: one muffin can easily serve 2 children. Costco muffins are larger than standard ones, so cutting them in half avoids waste and creates a more suitable portion size. You can pre-slice them and store them in a container so that in the morning, you just grab one, and breakfast is ready in seconds. 3. Turning a Costco sheet cake into a wedding cake. It might sound a little bold, but many couples have saved hundreds of dollars with one incredibly simple trick: turning a $25–30 Costco sheet cake into an elegant wedding cake that looks no different from one made by a professional bakery. Instead of spending several hundred or even $1,000 on a traditional wedding cake, all you need are 2 or 3 sheet cakes and a bit of time to assemble and decorate. That's enough to create a beautiful, large centerpiece for your entire celebration. The process is not complicated at all. You cut the cake into squares or rectangles, then stack them to form tiers for a natural height effect. Next, use store-bought frosting or quickly whip some up at home to cover the entire surface. As long as you apply it evenly, the cake will have a smooth finish that looks professionally done. Finally, add fresh flowers, fruit, or a themed topper. These small details account for 90% of the cake's elegant appearance. What surprises many people is that Costco sheet cakes already taste great, with a balanced sweetness that suits most guests. Their large size also means you won't run out, even at big events. And if you want to save even more, you can decorate just one main cake for display and cutting, then serve pre-cut sheet cake from the back, a trick used by many event planners. 4. Thawing Costco croissants in the oven. Costco croissants are consistently among the most popular bakery items, but not everyone can finish them before they lose their crisp texture. The best way to keep them delicious is to divide them and freeze them immediately after purchase. And this is where a simple trick becomes incredibly helpful. Thaw croissants in the oven instead of the microwave. The reason is obvious. Croissants are made of delicate layers of butter folded many times. When you use the microwave, steam gets trapped and makes the outer layers chewy and slightly soggy, causing that signature crispness to disappear. But in the oven, croissants heat slowly and evenly, letting excess moisture escape so the crust becomes lightly crisp, while the inside stays soft and buttery, just like when they were fresh. The method is extremely quick. Just set your oven to 350 degrees. By the time the oven reaches that temperature, the croissant will have warmed to the perfect level. No complicated timers, simply place the croissant inside right when you turn the oven on and once it hits the set temperature, it's ready to enjoy. Most people who try this say it tastes just like a freshly baked bakery croissant. 5. Costco bread. Buying in pairs saves the most. Many Costco shoppers walk right past the bread section because they assume, if I buy 2, I'll never finish them. But in reality, bread is one of the best money-saving buys at Costco if you store it correctly. Most breads come in pairs: sandwich loaves, sourdough, brioche, baguettes. And the reason is simple. Buying 2 at Costco is significantly cheaper than buying 1 loaf at a regular supermarket. In fact, a single loaf elsewhere can cost almost as much as Costco's 2-pack. What most people worry about is the bread going stale or moldy, but all you need is one simple trick: portion and freeze. Frozen bread holds its shape extremely well and doesn't become crumbly or lose its aroma. You can slice it ahead of time, place the slices in a zip bag, squeeze out excess air, and freeze them. Whenever you need sandwich bread, toast, or garlic bread, just take out a few slices and use them immediately. Want softer bread? Leave it at room temperature for a few minutes. Want it crisp like freshly baked? Toast it in a toaster oven for 2 to 3 minutes. Reheated slices remain fragrant and springy. Many people actually prefer Costco bread this way rather than when it's freshly bought. Another advantage of buying in pairs is fewer grocery runs. Households with kids, busy schedules, or anyone who meal preps find this combo extremely practical. You always have bread at home, and you never run out midweek. And with prices much lower than traditional supermarkets, you can save a noticeable amount every month. Like the video if this surprised you. 6. Costco tiramisu, a super budget-friendly dessert. If you've ever tried making tiramisu at home, you already know why this dessert looks simple, but ends up surprisingly expensive. Just the ladyfingers, mascarpone, cocoa, and espresso alone can push the total cost way up, not to mention the time spent soaking, layering, and chilling. That's why when people discover that Costco sells a nearly 2.4 lb tray of tiramisu for only about $15–16, the first reaction is usually disbelief. And as expected, this is one of the most affordable ready-made desserts you can buy that still delivers an authentic Italian flavor. What makes Costco's tiramisu great is its balance. The mascarpone cream layer is light and not overly sweet, paired with perfectly soaked cake layers that have just the right touch of coffee. For many families, this becomes the ideal instant dessert for small gatherings, potlucks, birthdays, or simply a weekend treat. No complicated prep, no baking tools. Just open the container, scoop, and you have a dessert that looks upscale but costs very little. What makes it an even better value is the quantity, enough for 8–10 people to enjoy generously. Some shoppers even portion it into smaller containers to store in the fridge, and the quality stays consistently good. If you want to make it look fancier, just dust a bit more cocoa on top, add a few berries, or relayer it in glass cups. It instantly looks like a premium restaurant dessert. 7. Frozen cookies are cheaper than fresh cookies. One of these silent money-saving hacks in Costco's bakery that most people overlook is that frozen cookies are often much cheaper than the freshly baked ones. If you look only at the trays in the bakery section, you'll see 24 cookies priced around $7–8, which seems reasonable. But walk over to the freezer section, and you'll find a giant box of nearly 180 frozen cookies for about $35. That breaks down to roughly 19 cents per cookie, almost half the price of the fresh ones. Many people assume frozen cookies won't taste as good, but the opposite is often true. Because they're packaged right after being made, the quality is very consistent. Once you bring them home, all you have to do is let them thaw naturally or bake them for a few minutes, and you'll get a batch of warm, fragrant cookies that taste like they just came out of the oven. An added bonus: you don't have to buy an entire tray of 24 and risk leftovers. With frozen cookies, you can bake exactly as many as you want whenever you want. This is also a fantastic option if you have kids, host parties, or just want a quick snack without running to the store. Want a warm cookie at night? Turn on a toaster oven for 5 minutes. Done. Hosting a weekend gathering? Bake 20 to 30 cookies at once and you're set. No leftovers, no stale cookies sitting around. 8. Pre-ordering bakery items in large quantities. If you've ever prepared for a large event, a birthday party, class reunion, or school festival, You know the stressful feeling of needing enough baked goods for everyone. But many Costco members don't realize that the bakery actually allows large quantity pre-orders. And this is the safest way to ensure you get exactly the items you want on the exact day you need them, without worrying about the shelves being empty. Instead of showing up early and hoping the bakery still has stock, all you need to do is walk up to the counter and specify the quantity, the type of item, and the pickup time. That's it. And the best part is that pre-ordering not only makes things easier for you, but it also allows the bakery team to plan production so each batch comes out fresh and exactly as requested. For big orders, like hundreds of cookies, multiple French bread loaves, or several trays of muffins, staff will even prepare large boxes so you can carry everything out smoothly. The reason to pre-order is simple. The bakery sells out incredibly fast, especially on weekends and holidays. It's not uncommon for the entire cookie or muffin section to be cleared within just 1 to 2 hours. If you show up without a pre-order, chances are you'll have to switch to a different item or end up short on quantity. Pre-ordering eliminates all the risk. Another advantage is that you can choose the exact varieties you want. Any muffin mix combo, specific cookie flavors, or loaves that come straight from the oven. Bakery staff can also recommend the ideal pickup time so that your items stay warm or at peak freshness when served. 9. Pre-scored sheet cake. Many people buy Costco sheet cakes without realizing you can request a pre-scored version, a cake lightly marked with thin frosting lines that divide it into perfectly even portions. It may sound minor, but if you've ever cut cake for a large crowd, you know exactly how valuable this trick is. No more uneven slices, oversized pieces, or crumbly messes from cutting at the wrong angle. With pre-scoring, you simply follow the marked lines and get neat, uniform servings just like a professional bakery. Requesting it is very easy. On the cake order form, select the Scored Flowers option, then cross out the word flowers and write Scored Only, no flowers. The bakery team will cover the cake in a smooth layer of white frosting and then divide the surface into tidy squares without adding any decorations. Want to decorate it yourself at home? Perfect. Prefer a simple cake that's easy to cut? Also ideal. The beauty of a pre-scored sheet cake is its versatility. It works for birthdays, reunions, office events, and large potlucks. Any situation where clean, evenly sized portions matter. And for parties with children, it's even more helpful. Everyone gets the same size piece, avoiding any arguments over who got the bigger slice. 10. Buying unbaked pastry. There's a secret that only longtime Costco shoppers tend to know. You can actually request unbaked pastry directly from the bakery counter. Not many people have heard of this, but it's incredibly useful if you love warm, crispy pastries or want to bake them on demand. No need to wait for a party, no need to buy a whole box of baked goods and worry about them turning soft or dry after a couple of days. With unbaked pastry, you can bake small batches at home anytime you want. When you request the unbaked version, the bakery will give you a large box, often about 120 cookie dough pieces or other pastry types, neatly portioned and separated. Just freeze them and use as needed. The price is also significantly cheaper than buying pre-baked pastries, and the quality is exactly the same. In fact, many people prefer the self-baked version because the pastries come out fragrant, crispy, and genuinely fresh. The biggest advantage of this option is the control it gives you. Want a few warm cookies for the kids at night? Grab 3 or 4 dough pieces and bake them for about 10 minutes. Have guests dropping by over the weekend? Bake 10-20 pieces. Your house will smell amazing, and you'll have fresh pastries instantly. No more worrying about pastries getting soft, losing flavor, or absorbing moisture over time. You control the quantity, the timing, and the texture of every batch. 11. Costco cake decorating hacks from Pinterest. If you've ever seen beautifully decorated cakes on Pinterest and wondered, could I do that? The answer is absolutely yes, especially if you start with Costco's ready-made cakes. Many decorating hacks that go viral on Pinterest actually come from the Costco community, where shoppers share how they turn simple sheet cakes or pumpkin pies into stunning desserts for birthdays, Halloween parties, and year-end celebrations. One of the easiest tricks is using stencils. Simply place a themed stencil lightly on the cake surface, then dust cocoa powder, powdered sugar, or cinnamon over it. When you lift the stencil, you'll see a sharp, clean design that looks like it was done by a professional decorator. This works especially well with Costco's pumpkin pies and chocolate cakes because their flat surfaces hold shapes perfectly. Another popular hack is refreshing tiramisu or other ready-made cakes with fresh fruit toppings. Just add a handful of berries, some mint leaves, or a sprinkle of chocolate shavings. Instantly, the cake looks more elegant and centerpiece-worthy. Pinterest is also full of ideas for creating faux-tiered cakes. Place a small cake in the center and surround it with Costco cupcakes. From a distance, it looks like a full 3-layer cake, but it's much easier to serve and requires minimal decorating. 12. Dessert recipes from the Costco website. Most people think of Costco's website as a place to check prices or browse deals. But few know that Costco has an entire recipe section filled with easy dessert ideas that use ingredients sold in the bakery. It's a completely free idea bank you can use for family gatherings, potlucks, or simply when you want to switch up your weekend dessert routine. One of the most shared recipes is the summer-themed sheet cake cut into star shapes. All you need is a plain white cake. Use a star-shaped cookie cutter to make small pieces, then decorate them with strawberries, blueberries, and whipped cream. It looks festive and comes together in minutes. These recipes are perfect for anyone short on time because you don't need to bake from scratch. Costco has already handled the hard part: soft cakes, large portions, and easy cutting. All you do is customize. Some recipes show how to turn croissants into bread pudding, use bagels to create a stylish brunch dish, or transform muffins into mini trifles with whipped cream and fruit. Costco's website also updates its recipes seasonally, so near the holidays you'll find twists on pumpkin desserts, peppermint treats, or layered tiramisu cups. The great thing is that all ingredients are easy to find right in the store, so there's no hunting for specialty items. Costco's bakery isn't just a place to buy affordable baked goods. It's a whole collection of tips and tricks that help you save time, save money, and elevate any gathering right at home. Whether you're choosing pre-scored cakes, unbaked pastries, or seasonal recipes from the website, you can easily turn everyday items into impressive, convenient desserts. On your next Costco trip, try just one of these hacks. You'll notice the difference immediately. Which tip from the video surprised you the most? The Costco deli section has over 24 items, but only a few are actually worth your money. The rest are traps. Some items look beautiful through the glass display case but will leave you filled with regret once you get them home. On the flip side, there are items that, if you knew their price compared to a restaurant, would make you wonder why you didn't buy them sooner. Today, I'm going to share the top items worth buying, as well as the ones you need to stay far away from. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. 1. Chicken pot pie. We're talking nearly 6 pounds of food in one tray, for just $20. You bring it home, pop it in the oven for about an hour, and when you open that oven door, your entire kitchen is filled with a rich, buttery aroma from corner to corner. The top crust bakes up golden brown, thick, and flaky, giving you a distinct, satisfying crunch when you cut into it. Inside is a velvety, creamy filling loaded with shredded chicken, peas, and carrots. The filling-to-crust ratio is incredibly generous. This isn't one of those pies that's all dough with nothing inside when you cut it open. To give you some numbers for comparison, a single-serve personal pot pie at Panera Bread or any decent bakery already runs you $12 to $15, and it's just enough to fill up one person. This Costco tray easily feeds 4 to 5 people, which breaks down to less than $4 per serving. You are paying less than the price of fast food for a proper, sit-down family dinner. This item isn't anything fancy or complicated. It's just good comfort food. Warm, cozy, and familiar. Like something your grandma would make on a winter day if she had all afternoon to spend in the kitchen. When you're standing at the display case choosing your tray, take a close look at the dough around the edges. Pick a tray where the crust is evenly crimped all around, without any collapsing or large cracks in the middle. The reason is that during baking, a sealed crust traps the steam inside, keeping the filling smooth and creamy. Trays with pre-cracked crusts tend to dry out the filling while baking, and you'll end up wondering why you bought the exact same item but it didn't taste as good as last time. If you've ever eaten ribs at Texas Roadhouse and sighed at the bill, Costco has the answer for that, and it's nearly half the price. 2. BBQ pork back ribs. If you've ever sat at Texas Roadhouse or Applebee's, ordered a full rack of ribs and stared at a $30 bill before tax and tip, you'll understand why this tray of ribs at Costco keeps people coming back over and over again. The price fluctuates between $17 and $19 depending on the weight of the rack, and what you get is a rack of pork ribs that has been slow-cooked to the perfect level of tenderness, where the meat clings just enough to the bone and pulls away cleanly with a gentle bite without being dry or mushy. The BBQ sauce glaze on the outside has a sweetness from brown sugar combined with a slight tang from apple cider vinegar, and a distinct smoky flavor that penetrates deep into the meat fibers, rather than just sitting on the surface. Compared to paying over $30 for the exact same full rack at a restaurant, you are saving nearly half your money and getting enough to comfortably feed 3 people. Reheating it at home is also incredibly simple. Wrap it tightly in aluminum foil, bake it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. Then for the last 3 minutes, open up the foil, brush a little extra sauce from the tray onto the surface, and turn on the broiler to get the edges slightly charred. One thing to keep in mind is that these are priced by the pound, so every tray will vary slightly. When standing in front of the shelf, pick up a few trays and choose the heaviest one within your acceptable price range, because that extra weight is actual meat, not sauce or packaging. 3. Chili con carne with shredded beef. It's $11 for a large tub, and from the outside, it doesn't look like anything special. Just a simple plastic tub with a reddish-brown chili inside that has no gloss or shine to it. But once you open it, it's a completely different story. The amount of shredded beef in here is double what you get in those canned chilies you buy at Walmart or Target. It's actual pieces of meat, not a crumbly, mushy texture, and it's not watered down. The beans are slow-cooked until soft but still hold their shape, all in a rich tomato base with a warm hint of spice and a subtle smoky finish. This is real chili, not the kind where you open the can and find mostly liquid with a few lonely pieces of meat swimming around inside. You can absolutely eat it straight as a thick bowl of soup for a quick dinner, and it's delicious. Scoop a big spoonful and ladle it over a hot-baked potato, and it's even better. On a Sunday afternoon when the family is sitting down to watch football, bring this out with some tortilla chips and a bowl of shredded cheddar cheese, and it becomes the perfect snack without requiring any extra cooking. For an $11 tub that can be spun into 3 or 4 different meals throughout the week, it's hard to beat that value-to-utility ratio. To elevate the flavor, try sprinkling a pinch of finely shredded cheddar cheese and a dollop of sour cream on top, right when the cheese is just starting to soften but hasn't completely melted yet. The difference between eating chili with toppings versus without toppings is much bigger than you think. It turns an $11 ready-to-eat item into something guests will ask if you made from scratch. The next item on the list is something I want you to know about before you spend $18 on it. 4. Chicken Alfredo. This pasta tray looks very appealing through the deli display glass. Thick fettuccine noodles, a heavy layer of white sauce, and large slices of grilled chicken placed right on top. $18 for a take-home Italian dinner sounds reasonable, but the problem starts by the time you hit your third bite. The cream sauce starts to feel heavy and cloying very quickly. It's not the natural richness of butter and cheese, but rather the heavy, flat texture of an industrial sauce formulated to keep the dish from separating while sitting in a display case all day long. As for the chicken, it's dry, crumbly, and completely disconnected from the pasta. When you eat it, it feels like you're chewing 2 separate dishes instead of a cohesive plate of Alfredo. At an $18 price point, you absolutely have the right to expect better than that. And here is the most important part. For that exact same $18, you could buy the $20 chicken pot pie tray that feeds the whole family or the $11 chili tub and have $7 left over for something else. Even the BBQ ribs in the same price range vastly outperform it in quality. Not every item in the deli section is worth the same amount of money, and the chicken Alfredo is the clearest example of that. Your $18 deserves to be spent on something better, and the Costco deli has plenty of superior options right next to this pasta tray. Next up is a side dish that many people buy and finish before they even touch the main course, simply because it's so smooth and fragrant that it's hard to stop eating. 5. Mashed potatoes. If you've ever made mashed potatoes from scratch at home, you know how time-consuming it is. Peeling, boiling, mashing, passing it through a mesh strainer to get rid of all the lumps, and then whipping it with butter and milk until smooth. That entire process takes at least an hour, and the results can vary by the day. Some batches come out smooth, while others stay lumpy. The mashed potato tray at the Costco deli is $12, and it's ready to go the moment you open the lid. The surface is velvety with a slight sheen, showing a natural creamy yellow color rather than the stark white of boxed potato flakes. The texture is smooth but still maintains the right amount of thickness, with a distinct aroma of butter and milk that isn't cloying or overly salty. This is the kind of mashed potatoes that holds its shape when you scoop it onto a plate, instead of running all over the place like those instant mashed potatoes sold in boxes. At $12 for a large tray, it stretches across multiple meals. It goes beautifully with the BBQ ribs mentioned earlier, pairs perfectly with Costco's rotisserie chicken, or can be used as the top layer for a family shepherd's pie over the weekend. It's versatile in a way that means it never goes to waste in the fridge because you can always find a use for it. When you factor in the labor it takes to make a batch of mashed potatoes at home, with this exact level of smoothness, $12 is actually a very reasonable price. You are paying for the hour of kitchen time you didn't have to spend, and the results are consistent every single time you buy it, rather than a hit or miss gamble at home. 6. Meatloaf. Meatloaf is an item that many people walk right past and ignore because the name is just too familiar. Everyone knows what meatloaf is, everyone has eaten it, and because of that, nobody expects much when they see it sitting in the deli case. But Costco's version is worth stopping to take a closer look. The loaf is dense and firm, not dry or crumbly, thanks to just the right amount of breadcrumbs inside to lock in the moisture. The tomato glaze layered on top is thick, glossy, and slightly sweet in that traditional American style. When you reheat it, it caramelizes lightly and gives off a very distinct, appetizing aroma. It's $15 and comes right with mashed potatoes in the exact same tray, meaning you bring it home, pop it in the oven, and have a complete dinner ready with zero extra prep. You don't have to take a gamble on a new dish that some family members might like while others don't, nor do you need to calculate what sides to pair with it because the mashed potatoes are already right there in the tray. You bring it home, put it in the oven, slice it onto plates, and the whole family sits down to eat without anyone having to ask, "What's for dinner?" anymore. If you want to take it up a notch, before putting it in the oven to reheat, brush a thin layer of smoky BBQ sauce onto the surface instead of just relying on the built-in tomato glaze. Once baked, the two layers of sauce overlapping create a very deep, sweet, savory, and smoky flavor that you just can't get with the original glaze alone. You know that feeling when guests are coming over and you didn't have time to prepare anything? The Costco deli has one thing that you just need to peel the lid off of, and anyone looking at it will think you prepped it the day before. 7. Shrimp cocktail. The shrimp cocktail tray is one of the few items in the deli section where you literally don't have to do a single thing. No baking, no reheating, no prep. Open the lid, set it on the table, and you're done. And what your guests see is a large tray of shrimp arranged in a perfectly neat uniform circle, with a cup of cocktail sauce right in the center, looking as premium and tidy as if you ordered it from a restaurant. The shrimp are large, uniform in size, cleanly peeled, and boiled just to the right point so the meat still maintains its firm texture, a slight snap, and a very distinct, natural sweetness. They aren't mushy or mealy like the mass-produced boiled shrimp you usually encounter in those frozen trays in the freezer section. The included cocktail sauce has a sharp, slightly pungent horseradish kick, tanginess from lemon, and a rich tomato base, strong enough to balance the sweetness of the shrimp without overpowering it. At $18 for a tray, it might not sound cheap compared to the other items on today's list, but if you were to order a similar shrimp cocktail tray from a seafood restaurant or a catering service, the price starts at $35 and up, not even counting the delivery fee. Costco gives you that exact same quality at half the price, ready to take home with no waiting around. At a party where the table is filled entirely with grilled meats and potatoes, this cold shrimp tray is the item people will keep coming back to grab more of the most. It's light on the stomach, refreshing, and can be eaten continuously without feeling heavy, and it turns a casual backyard BBQ into a party that feels a whole lot higher class without costing you much extra effort. There is one more trap at the deli section that, if I don't tell you about, you could very easily fall into. 8. Chicken enchiladas. This is the second item on today's list that I recommend leaving on the shelf. And to be completely honest, it looks delicious through the glass display case. The rolled tortillas are arranged neatly, evenly covered in red sauce, and topped with a sprinkle of cheese, looking exactly like the standard enchiladas you'd see at a Mexican restaurant. The problem is that all that beauty falls apart once you bring it home and pop it in the oven. The corn tortilla shells have been soaking in that red sauce for too many hours in the refrigerated display case, so they are completely waterlogged and mushy. When you reheat it, the rising steam turns the entire outer shell into a pasty, sticky dough mixture, and the moment you use a spatula to scoop it onto a plate, it falls apart instantly. There is no rolled enchilada shape left, just a sloppy pile on your plate. The chicken filling inside isn't any better, because it goes through 2 rounds of heat, first when Costco prepares it and second when you reheat it at home. The meat is stripped of all moisture, turning out dry with a salty aftertaste from the accumulated sodium in the industrial sauce. Eating it feels dry in your throat, rather than the soft, juicy, and moist enchiladas you would expect. Nearly $18 for that experience is just not worth it. For that same budget, you can buy the $15 meatloaf tray that comes right with mashed potatoes, which is tastier, more solid, and carries zero risk of falling apart when scooped onto a plate. Or you could use that $18 to buy 2 $11 chili tubs and still have money left over. The enchiladas at the Costco deli are one of those items where the gap between what you see in the case and what you actually eat on your plate is the widest. 9. Stuffed bell peppers. A rare item in the deli section where you look at the ingredients and find absolutely nothing to worry about. No heavy cream sauces, no overflowing melted cheese, no crispy battered coating wrapped around the outside. It is simply large bell peppers tightly stuffed with ground beef mixed with rice, tomato sauce, and seasonings. Just bake it, and you're done. During baking, the bell peppers soften up but still retain their natural, clean sweetness, and that sweetness balances the meat filling inside very well, so it doesn't feel heavy even if you eat the whole pepper. Each bell pepper is a complete meal on its own, with no need for extra sides and no need to calculate how much to portion out for each person. 4 peppers in a tray, 4 servings, straightforward. For anyone trying to eat a bit lighter, with less grease, or simply wanting a weeknight dinner that won't weigh down their stomach, this is the best choice in the deli section. The flavor is clean and easy to eat, making it suitable for both seniors and young children because there is nothing too heavy or too spicy inside. The only downside is that the price is based on weight, so it can fluctuate. And compared to other items on today's list, it is not the cheapest option. But if you put health value ahead of the price tag, this is one of the few items at the Costco deli that you can finish eating with absolutely zero guilt. How much are you spending on lunch every day? Multiply that number by 5 days, then multiply it again by 4 weeks, and you'll understand why I want you to look at this part. 10. Chicken croissant sandwiches. Do the math. A chicken sandwich at Panera Bread runs you $8 to $10. It's about the same at Starbucks. This Costco tray gives you 5 large croissant sandwiches along with a Caesar salad, all for a total of $16. That breaks down to less than $3.50 per serving. You are paying a third of the Panera price for quality that is just as good. The croissant crust is thin and flaky on the outside, light and soft on the inside, with a clear, buttery aroma. The shredded chicken filling is tossed with just enough mayo to keep it moist without being soggy or leaking water all over the pastry shell. The accompanying Caesar salad is fresh and crisp, complete with shredded cheese, enough to balance out the meal so it doesn't feel heavy on pure carbs. No reheating required. Open the lid, take them out, and eat immediately. Take it to work, toss it in the office fridge, and when lunchtime comes, you're good to go. Or on weekends when the family wants a quick lunch and nobody wants to cook, everyone grabs a sandwich, sits down at the table for 5 minutes, and then goes back to whatever they were doing. Plus, it's not heavy on the stomach. You finish eating and still stay alert enough to keep working through the afternoon, rather than the kind of meal that makes you want to lie down and crash. 11. Gyro box. If you've ever eaten gyros at a Greek restaurant, you know an individual portion there costs $12 to $15, not including tip. This Costco tray gives you enough ingredients to roll at least 5 or 6 servings for $17. And what you get isn't a pre-mixed mess in a tray, but rather each ingredient neatly separated. The thinly sliced lamb seasoned with Mediterranean spices is on one side. Soft pita bread is on another. Fresh vegetables, including tomatoes, onions, and lettuce, are on one side. And tzatziki sauce made from yogurt, cucumber, and garlic is on another. Because the ingredients are separated, you easily have control over everything. If you want more meat and fewer vegetables, you adjust it yourself. If you want less sauce because you're cutting back on dairy, you scale it down. Nobody forces you to eat according to a predetermined ratio that Costco decided for you. And that is completely different from other ready-to-eat trays, where everything is mixed together and cannot be separated. You only need to do one thing before eating. Quickly sear the lamb in a pan over high heat for about 2 minutes per side to wake up the aroma, and get the edges slightly charred while warming up the pita bread in the microwave or on a dry pan for 15 seconds. Those 2 steps turn a $17 ready-to-eat tray into a meal that, when brought to the table, nobody would ever guess came from Costco. On the weekend, if someone drops by unexpectedly and you need something to set out on the table in 30 seconds that still looks decent, this section is for you. 12. Fruit and cheese tray. You spend $15 on a tray where you don't need to do anything except peel off the lid and place it on the table. Crisp grapes, strawberries, and pineapples are arranged right next to cubed cheeses, ranging from soft, rich, and creamy types to semi-hard, slightly salty ones, and everything is already pre-arranged in the tray looking neat and beautiful. The fruit is fresh, with no bruising or leaking juice, while the cheese belongs to a higher tier compared to what you would expect at a $15 price point. This tray is not a main course, and it shouldn't be treated as one. It's the kind of thing you place in the middle of the table on a Sunday afternoon when the family is sitting out in the yard. Anyone who's hungry picks up a piece, and anyone drinking wine sips it along with a piece of cheese, with no need for portioning and no pressure to finish it all. It creates that relaxed vibe you usually only see at parties with hired catering services, but in reality, it only took you 30 seconds to open the lid. And if guests drop by over the weekend and you didn't have time to prepare anything, this tray saves you instantly. For just $15, getting fresh fruit, great cheese, a beautiful pre-presentation, and not having to run to 3 or 4 different stores to buy each item then come home to arrange it on a plate yourself is completely worth it. And the final item. This is what Costco shoppers call a legend. Not because it's new, but because nobody has been able to find anything that can replace it after all these years. 13. Cheesecake. If the Costco deli section has one dessert that everyone knows, everyone has heard of, and almost everyone who buys it once comes back to buy again, it's this cheesecake. It is so famous that people call it a Costco legend, and once you try it, you'll understand why that title is not an exaggeration at all. If you've ever bought a cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory, you know the price fluctuates starting from $50 depending on the flavor. This one at Costco is $23, and calling it size giant would not be an understatement, while the quality comes incredibly close to the double price tag you're paying elsewhere. The surface of the cake is smooth, with no cracking and no uneven bumps. The crust is thick and firm. When you slice it, it holds its shape perfectly instead of crumbling all over the plate. The cream cheese layer on top is dense and velvety, with that signature rich flavor blended with a very pleasant subtle tang. And the sweetness is just gentle enough without being cloying or overpowering the cheese flavor. And the best way to enjoy it that I've found is to place a slice on a plate next to a cup of hot black coffee or Earl Grey tea in the afternoon. You are sitting in your own home, comfortable in your loungewear, with a $23 cake that's big enough to yield over a dozen slices. With this size, it comfortably serves any occasion from birthdays to family gatherings, holidays, or simply a Friday night when you want to treat yourself after a long week. If you can't finish it all, just slice it up, wrap each piece individually, and pop them into the freezer. Whenever you want to eat, just move a slice to the fridge for a few hours, and it softens right back up to nearly brand new. You don't need to memorize everything, and you don't need to buy everything in one trip. But the next time you're standing in front of the deli case unsure of what to choose, open this video and watch it again. It will save you a lot more than you think. Right now, there's a good chance your Costco cart contains a few slow-burning money traps, quietly draining your budget each month, and you don't even realize it. Kirkland's signature has long been praised as high quality at a great price. But heading into 2026, not everything with a Kirkland label is automatically a smart buy. Some items are worth every penny. Others cost you for trusting the name alone. Before your next warehouse run, you need to know what's truly worth it and what's not, so you don't get fooled by the low price tag again. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. Best buys. 8. Kirkland Ultra Clean Laundry Detergent. Have you ever stood in front of the detergent aisle and wondered, am I paying for cleaning power or for primetime TV ads? If so, take a closer look at Kirkland Ultra Clean, a quieter name that competes head-to-head with the industry giants. Ultra Clean doesn't rely on flashy packaging. It focuses on what actually matters: cleaning performance. Many real-world tests show that its stain-fighting ability stands right alongside Tide and Persil. When it comes to greasy work clothes or kitchen stains, Ultra Clean often delivers impressively strong results. The bigger story, though, is the price. While major brands build marketing costs into every bottle, Kirkland benefits from Costco's direct retail model, cutting out much of that overhead. The result? A large-size detergent with solid performance and a noticeably lower cost per load. There's also the Ultra Clean Free and Clear version, a safer choice for sensitive skin. No heavy fragrances, no harsh irritants, making it suitable for children's clothing or anyone prone to allergies. 7. Kirkland Balsamic Vinegar. Have you ever picked up a bottle of balsamic vinegar at a specialty store and been shocked to see prices nearing $100 for just a few hundred milliliters? That's why many shoppers assume that if it's affordable, it must be diluted or lower quality. But Kirkland Balsamic Vinegar tells a different story. At under $20 for a full 1-liter bottle, it almost sounds too good to be true. Yet what sets it apart isn't just the generous size. It's the balance between acidity and natural sweetness. Drizzle it over a caprese salad, mix it with olive oil for roasted vegetables, or even add a few drops to fresh strawberries, and you'll notice real depth of flavor, not just sharp, one-dimensional acidity. Another advantage is its long shelf life, typically 3 to 5 years when stored properly. That means you don't have to use it daily to justify the purchase. Instead of spending on a small, premium bottle and rationing every drop, this gives you the freedom to cook creatively without worrying about waste. Of course, if you're extremely particular and only seek traditionally aged balsamic from Medina matured for decades, that's a different conversation. But for most households, Kirkland strikes a smart balance between quality and value. 6. The $4.99 rotisserie chicken. If there's a living legend inside Costco, it's the $4.99 rotisserie chicken. You might forget milk, you might forget paper towels, but it's almost impossible to walk past the hot food section without glancing at those rows of golden chickens under the warming lights. What makes people wonder is this. In the middle of 2026 inflation, with meat, feed, and transportation costs all rising, how has the price stayed the same? The answer lies in a loss leader strategy. Costco is willing to take a loss on each chicken, potentially totaling millions of dollars a year in exchange for something far more valuable: customer traffic. Because when you stop in just for a chicken, you rarely walk out with a $4.99 receipt. You grab a salad, some bread, maybe a sauce, and possibly a box of frozen fruit while you're at it. The chicken becomes a smart entry point that pulls you deeper into the warehouse. Costco didn't stop there. The company invested in controlling its own supply chain, from feed production to its processing facility in Nebraska, helping stabilize long-term pricing and reduce exposure to market swings. And don't mistake the low price for low quality. The meat is still tender, the skin still crisp, perfect for a family dinner or shredded into salads, sandwiches, and soups for days afterward. 5. Kirkland Extra Virgin Olive Oil. If you've ever stood in front of the olive oil aisle feeling overwhelmed by dozens of options at every price point, reach for the Kirkland bottle with the green cap. What surprises many people is that this product consistently earns high marks from culinary experts for purity and flavor. It's true extra virgin, cold-pressed, and retaining the distinctive aroma of fresh olives. Drizzle it over salad, and you'll notice a slight peppery kick in the throat and a subtle bitterness on the finish. Classic signs of quality olive oil, not a bland blended version. Another advantage is the dark bottle, which helps protect the oil from light exposure that can degrade quality. If you look closely, Kirkland often provides clear information about origin and best buy dates, important details for olive oil, since it can oxidize over time. But what truly makes it stand out is the price. Around $18 for a 2-liter bottle of extra virgin olive oil is hard to believe when many premium brands charge the same, or more, for just 500 milliliters. At that price, you can comfortably use it for everyday cooking, marinades, and sauces instead of rationing every drop. Of course, if you use very little olive oil, a 2-liter bottle may feel large, but for families who cook regularly, it's practically a buy-once, use-for-the-long-haul staple. 4. Kirkland Organic Maple Syrup. Have you ever flipped over a bottle of syrup in your kitchen and paused when you saw high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, and artificial flavoring on the ingredient list? If you have, you know that uneasy feeling of sweetness that doesn't taste quite real. That's when it's worth considering a switch to Kirkland's organic maple syrup. The difference is clear right on the label. 100% maple syrup, grade A amber, certified organic. No blends, no added corn syrup, no artificial coloring. When you pour it over pancakes or waffles, the sweetness builds gradually, with depth and a light caramel finish. The true character of natural maple sap, not the sharp, instant sweetness of imitation syrups. The price is another reason people rethink their choices. At around $15 for a 1-liter bottle of organic maple syrup, it's highly competitive compared to many brands selling smaller bottles for the same price. That means you don't have to ration every drop. You can use it freely for breakfast, in marinades, or to balance flavors in salad dressings. Real maple syrup also offers a nutritional edge over heavily refined syrup blends. It's still sugar, but it's natural sugar, not something masked with additives. 3. Frozen fruit 3-berry blend. Have you noticed how fresh fruit prices lately move like the stock market? Strawberries are affordable one week, then spike the next. And if you've ever bought a carton of blueberries only to forget about it in the fridge, you know the frustration of throwing away spoiled fruit. That's why Kirkland's 4-pound 3-berry blend has become a quiet staple in many freezers. This mix of strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries is frozen at peak ripeness, when flavor and nutritional value are at their highest. The rapid freezing process helps preserve most of the vitamins and antioxidants instead of letting the fruit over-ripen during transport like fresh produce often does. Another advantage is convenience. No washing, no cutting, no worrying about bruising. Just open the bag and toss it straight into a blender for smoothies, stir it into morning yogurt, or cook it down into a fruit sauce for pancakes. A 4-pound bag delivers a very competitive price per ounce compared to buying small clamshell containers at the grocery store. More importantly, there's almost no waste. Use what you need, and the rest stays safely in the freezer without spoiling after a few days. 2. Kirkland Whole Cashews. If you're still buying cashews at a regular grocery store for $15 to $17 a bag that's under 30 ounces, you're paying too much for the same product. Kirkland Whole Cashews are one of those genuinely high-value items that many people overlook simply because they come in a large container. For under $20, you get a full 40 ounces of whole cashews, evenly sized and roasted just right. Compared side by side with similar products at Target or Whole Foods, you clearly get more volume for roughly the same price. On a per-ounce basis, the difference isn't just a few cents, it's significant enough to show up on your long-term grocery bill. More importantly, quality isn't sacrificed for the lower price. The nuts retain their natural richness, with a satisfying crunch that isn't dry. The salt level is balanced, flavorful without being overpowering. You can snack on them straight from the container, toss them into salads, mix them into granola, blend them into cashew butter, or add them to stir-fries for extra texture. A large container like this gives you flexibility beyond just treating them as an expensive snack. Of course, buying in bulk requires proper storage, but if your household regularly consumes nuts, this is close to an optimal choice. Instead of purchasing multiple smaller, higher-priced bags, you buy once and save in a meaningful way. 1. Kirkland Gasoline. Many people assume gas is the same everywhere. As long as it's the same grade, it doesn't matter where you fill up. But if you look more closely, not all fuel meets the same standard. Costco gasoline is certified top tier, meaning it contains higher levels of engine cleaning additives than the government's minimum requirement. You won't feel the difference after just one fill-up. But over time, using fuel with better additive packages can help reduce engine buildup and maintain performance. That's the kind of long-term value many drivers don't immediately notice. What truly grabs attention, though, is the price. In many areas, Costco gas is typically 10 to 30 cents cheaper per gallon than nearby stations. That may not sound like much, but if you fuel up regularly, the savings add up to a noticeable amount over the course of a year. Costco can maintain competitive pricing because of its membership model. You need a membership to access the gas station, and the steady revenue from membership fees allows the company to operate on thinner margins at the pump. So once you've paid your annual fee, filling up at Costco feels like maximizing an added benefit. At Costco, there's a very thin line between buying in bulk to save and buying in bulk to waste. Some products look shockingly cheap, but come with hidden inconveniences that, if you knew beforehand, might make you prefer spending a few extra dollars at your local grocery store instead. Up next are the items you should think twice about before putting them in your cart. Like the video if this surprised you. Worst buys. 8. Kirkland ground coffee, large can. Love a bold cup of coffee every morning? Then be careful with those 3-pound cans of pre-ground Kirkland coffee. At around $20 for such a large amount, it sounds like a great deal. But freshness is the hidden trade-off. The moment coffee beans are ground, oxidation begins. Aroma, natural oils, and flavor compounds gradually dissipate over time. Every time you open the lid, air rushes in and accelerates that process. If you're not brewing multiple pots a day, by the time you reach the second half of the can, the coffee may taste flatter, less complex, and noticeably less fragrant than when you first opened it. This is the paradox of buying in bulk when it comes to freshness-sensitive products. You save money per pound, but you compromise the quality of each cup. And if you genuinely care about rich, full-bodied flavor, that difference is significant. Of course, for large households, high daily consumption, or commercial-style brewing where the coffee moves quickly, the large can makes sense. But for someone who drinks 1 or 2 cups each morning, smaller bags, or buying whole beans and grinding at home, may be the smarter option, even if the per-pound price is slightly higher. 7. Kirkland large bag of flour. The 25-pound bag of Kirkland flour looks impressive. Big, sturdy, almost like you just walked out of a professional bakery supply store. The price per pound is extremely appealing. But before loading it into your cart, pause for a moment and ask yourself, will you actually use it all? Flour isn't something that lasts forever in the back of your pantry. Depending on the type and storage conditions, its shelf life is typically only about 3 to 8 months. If it's not kept in an airtight container and protected from moisture, it can absorb humidity, clump together, or even develop an unpleasant musty smell. And once it starts to smell slightly sour or off, the entire bag may need to be discarded. This is the classic bulk savings trap. You save a few dollars per pound, but if a significant portion ends up being thrown away due to expiration or improper storage, those savings disappear instantly. For someone who bakes only occasionally on weekends, a smaller 5-pound bag often makes far more sense. Unless you bake frequently, run a side business, or have a large household that goes through flour consistently, a 25-pound bag can easily become more of a burden than a benefit. 6. Kirkland square milk jugs. At first glance, Kirkland's square milk jug doesn't seem like a problem. The price is good, the size is generous, and compared to other brands, it still feels like the economical choice. But if you've ever picked one up and tried pouring when it's still full, you understand why this product sparks debate. The square design helps Costco optimize transportation. The jugs stack tightly on pallets, reducing empty space, lowering logistics costs, and ultimately keeping shelf prices down. From a supply chain perspective, it's a smart decision. But once it moves from the warehouse to your kitchen, the experience changes. Unlike traditional milk jugs with a narrower neck, this design makes the flow harder to control. When you tilt it to pour, especially during the first few uses when it's heavy and full, the milk tends to rush out quickly. A slight misalignment, and it spills over the rim of the glass. Suddenly, you've wasted a few ounces and you're wiping down the counter. 5. Kirkland facial tissues. Facial tissues are one of those items you buy on autopilot. If it's a few dollars cheaper than Kleenex or Puffs, many shoppers grab the Kirkland box without a second thought. But if you've gone through an entire box during cold and flu season, you may have noticed the difference. While the price is slightly lower, Kirkland tissues are often rated lower in softness during quality comparisons. They don't feel as smooth as versions infused with lotion or aloe. And when you're blowing your nose repeatedly for days, that subtle roughness becomes a real issue, leaving skin red and irritated. Another drawback is limited variety. While other brands offer multiple options, moisturizing, ultra-soft, multi-layer, or sensitive skin versions, Kirkland typically sticks to one basic line. For households with sensitive skin or young children, that lack of flexibility may push you toward other options. 4. Kirkland toilet paper. It used to be considered a must-buy every time you walked into Costco. A huge package stacked high, giving you the satisfying feeling that you've covered a full month of essentials in one trip. But if you pause and compare more closely, the picture isn't as simple as it once seemed. Recently, this product has started receiving mixed reviews. It's still reasonably soft and fairly thick. However, when compared to value-focused options like Scott, the difference in sheet count per roll becomes noticeable. Scott advertises up to 1,000 sheets per roll, while a Kirkland roll typically has just over 400. In terms of durability, Kirkland performs at a decent mid-range level. But if your main goal is maximizing true cost efficiency, certain budget-oriented brands may deliver better value per use. That doesn't mean Kirkland is a bad product. Compared to premium brands like Charmin or Quilted Northern, you may still save money. But if you assume it's automatically the cheapest possible option, it may be worth taking a closer look. 3. Kirkland batteries. Don't let a few dollars in savings tempt you into risking devices in your home that cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Batteries may be a small item in your cart, but the consequences of choosing the wrong one can be significant. Kirkland batteries have earned trust in the past, partly due to claims that they're produced in the same facilities as Duracell. On the surface, that sounds reassuring. However, what has sparked debate are reports of leakage. Not everyone experiences it, but enough consumers have raised concerns to make it worth noting. When a battery leaks inside a remote, a child's toy, or an electronic device, you're not just replacing the battery, you may be replacing the entire device. The corrosive liquid can damage internal circuitry, making any initial savings meaningless. Another point to consider is pricing. Kirkland batteries are no longer significantly cheaper than Duracell packs sold at Costco. When the price gap narrows, choosing the option with a stronger reputation for consistency and reliability becomes an understandable decision. 2. Kirkland diapers. When you walk into Costco and see that massive box of Kirkland diapers priced lower than the big national brands, it's hard not to be tempted. For families with babies, diapers are a near-daily expense, so saving a few dozen dollars each month sounds genuinely appealing. But this is where it's worth slowing down for a moment. In fact, several comparisons suggest that Kirkland diapers may offer about 30% less absorbency than Huggies, a brand often considered its closest counterpart in the same tier. That means, over the same period of time, the diaper may fill up faster, increasing the risk of leaks or dampness if it's not changed promptly. It's true that Kirkland diapers are free from strong fragrances or lotions, which is a plus for babies with sensitive skin. However, when it comes to the most critical factor, staying dry overnight, many parents feel they're not as consistently reliable as some premium brands. And if you carefully compare the price per diaper, certain true budget brands like Target's Up and Up can come in even lower. At that point, Kirkland's price advantage becomes less clear. 1. Kirkland dishwasher pods. If there's one Kirkland product that has sparked the most debate among members, it's the dishwasher pods. On the shelf, they look convincing. A large box, lower cost per pod than major brands. But the issues often appear after a few wash cycles. Many users report that the pods don't fully dissolve, leaving a cloudy film on glasses and dishes. Instead of opening the dishwasher to sparkling results, you find yourself re-washing items by hand. That initial feeling of saving money quickly fades. It doesn't stop there. If the pod doesn't dissolve completely, residue can build up in the drainage system or cling to the spray arms. Over time, that buildup may affect the machine's performance. Of course, not everyone experiences these problems. Some households use them without issue. But if you've noticed cloudy streaks on your glassware or detected a slightly strong chemical smell, those could be warning signs worth paying attention to. Shopping at Costco truly is an art, and it requires awareness. Don't let oversized packaging or a few dollars in savings cloud your ability to compare and calculate. Consider your family's actual needs, usage frequency, and long-term quality before deciding. Kirkland offers many excellent values, but it isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Which Kirkland product has disappointed you the most? Are you sure you're getting the most out of your Costco membership card? Don't let hundreds of dollars go to waste just by overlooking these 18 rarely noticed deals. And stop buying the following 4 items immediately if you don't want to waste your money. You'd be awesome if you subscribe and like this video. 1. Ibuprofen pain reliever. Did you know that Costco has a pharmacy pricing program that very few people notice even after being members for many years? A combo of 2 ibuprofen bottles with 500 tablets each for a total of 1,000 tablets costs only about $11. Compared to a single bottle of Advil containing 100 to 200 tablets at a regular pharmacy, which already costs $15 to $20, this price point is up to 80% cheaper per tablet. The expiration date usually lasts 2 to 3 years, so there is absolutely enough time for a family to safely use it all, making it particularly useful for households with people who play sports frequently or elderly members who often experience bone and joint aches. Not a few families even ask neighbors or adult children who have moved out to buy a combo together, with each household keeping 1 bottle. This both avoids taking up space in the medicine cabinet and splits the initial cost evenly. This single bottle of medicine alone has already quietly helped recover a significant portion of the annual membership card fee. And if you pay attention to the multivitamin section right next to it, there is a high probability you will find a few other combos that are equally worth buying. 2. Sudafed nasal decongestant. In addition to pain relievers, the pharmacy services at Costco also offer bargain deals specifically for nasal decongestants that not everyone knows about. The clearest proof is the 4 to 6 hour long-acting medication line, where a 72-count box is only $1.69, and customers are allowed to purchase a maximum of 5 boxes per visit according to individual state regulations. Many people, when asking the pharmacist about this store brand, are surprised because the active ingredients and effectiveness are no different from the big names they are used to buying at many times the price outside. This is because, under FDA regulations, a generic medication must prove it has the same active ingredients and the same absorption dosage to be allowed on the market. Stocking up on a few boxes in the medicine cabinet before the cold season hits is a simple yet effective way to manage healthcare costs, leaving no room for worry every time the whole family gets a cold. There is something that almost everyone stepping out of Costco carries in their cart, yet the majority do not know why it is so worth buying. 3. Kirkland paper products. I have asked a lot of longtime shoppers, and almost everyone walking into Costco has a roll of Kirkland brand paper sitting on their shopping list, though they might not always pay attention to why. Kirkland Signature has long partnered for production with the industry's largest paper conglomerates, so the thickness, toughness, and sheet count per roll are all superior to competitors in the same price segment. Both the paper towel and toilet paper lines apply that same formula. And if you calculate the price per sheet, almost no retail brand can keep up with this margin when buying in bulk. Some people used to be very particular, staying loyal only to big-name brands, but after trying it once based on a friend's recommendation, they switched to it completely for the long run because of the noticeable thickness and monthly savings. 4. Clothing clearance section. This is a major bargain that many people miss out on just by skimming past the clothing section in the middle of the warehouse, thinking the clothes here are unfashionable. In reality, you can hunt down brand-name fashion items at price points that can be over 60% cheaper than their official flagship stores, such as Calvin Klein windbreakers or Under Armour activewear sets. There were even times I saw Eddie Bauer sweaters for only about $20 each. This area rotates merchandise continuously according to the season, so the item you like today could disappear completely during your next visit, which is completely different from other stable product sections in the warehouse. When Costco clears out the warehouse to welcome a new season, clearance prices that typically end in a .97 ending will appear. And that is exactly the time to take advantage and make your selections before the merchandise sells out completely. 5. Starbucks coffee pods. That daily morning coffee shop habit is quietly eating away at a significant chunk of your budget, averaging $5 to $6 a cup, not to mention the time spent standing in line during the frantic morning rush. Costco is currently offering a $10 markdown on the 72-count box of Starbucks Pike Place Medium Roast Pods, bringing the price down to $41.99. In addition to the familiar medium roast, the shelves also rotate through several other flavor profiles like French roast or decaf, depending on the specific shipment wave. Doing a simple calculation, each cup brewed at home using a Keurig machine costs only about 58 cents, which translates to a daily saving of nearly $5 compared to buying from a shop. This adds up to over $150 a month, and for a regular morning coffee drinker, it can total nearly $1,800 a year for just one person. The aroma of coffee spreading through the kitchen each morning is also the reason why many families have completely switched to brewing at home. 6. Rotisserie chicken. This is perhaps Costco's most iconic item, a product whose price point has practically become a word-of-mouth legend over many years. While regular supermarkets sell smaller rotisserie chickens for $8 to $11, Costco maintains its price point of $4.99 despite rising ingredient and labor costs, and the weight consistently reaches a minimum of 3 pounds, which is 30% to 50% larger than other chains. A single chicken like this can be split into multiple meals. The first night it can be paired with a salad, and the remaining portion can be shredded as filling for tacos or sandwiches the next day. However, for those who need to restrict their salt intake or closely manage their calories, it is important to watch the portion sizes, as the skin and the marinating sauce contribute a significant amount to your daily sodium absorption. 7. Whole pizza. While fast food chains continuously hike their prices and cut down on portion sizes, finding a family meal under $40 is no easy task, and ordering through delivery apps can push a medium-sized pizza up to $25 or $30 with added fees. Costco's 18-inch whole pizza holds its price point at under $10, offering a surface area that is nearly double the size of a standard 14-inch large pizza. It is more than enough to fill up a family of 4, even with 2 teenagers who eat heartily, and it even leaves a few slices over for breakfast the next morning. It works out to less than $2.50 per person, a price point that no fast food combo in the US can compete with right now. In the next section, there is a specific detail on the packaging that the majority of shoppers overlook, and that exact detail determines whether the item is worth buying or not. 8. Frozen wild blueberries. Fresh berries are one of the items with the most volatile price fluctuations, and they get moldy very quickly after just a few days in the fridge, even if you store them carefully. When standing in front of the Costco freezer, make sure to look for the bag explicitly labeled wild blueberries instead of the regular organic variety. While wild blueberries are smaller, they contain more antioxidants and less water, giving them a significantly richer and deeper, naturally sweet and tart flavor profile compared to the common commercially grown variety. This is also a familiar choice for many individuals on a glycemic control diet, as the glycemic index in this smaller fruit variety is typically lower. The 5-pound deep frozen bag lasts for months for smoothies, yogurt, or baking without a single berry going to waste. And because they are flash frozen right after harvest, the nutritional content is sometimes even better preserved than fresh fruit left sitting on the shelves for days. 9. Paradise dried mangoes. High-quality dried fruit that is low in artificial sugars is usually a luxury item. Buying individual small pouches at a regular supermarket can run $3 to $5 for just a few ounces, while the ingredients often include added refined sugar to boost sweetness. Costco is currently running a $3.30 markdown on the Paradise 8-pack combo box, bringing the price down to $11.69. Each individual pouch contains 3.5 ounces of calcium-rich dried mango that retains the natural sweetness of ripe fruit without needing added additives. Dividing them into small, pre-portioned pouches also makes portion control much easier, eliminating the worry of the mangoes turning hard and dry after opening a large bag like many old-fashioned packaging styles. Speaking of healthy eating, there is a bottle of cooking oil sitting quietly on the Costco shelves, and the results of a recent study have sent quite a few people lining up to buy extra. 10. Avocado oil. The healthy cooking trend is pushing avocado oil to a top priority thanks to its high smoke point of up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is significantly higher than extra virgin olive oil that can only withstand heat up to around 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This limits the generation of harmful substances when frying, stir-frying, or grilling at high temperatures. A recent study from UC Davis pointed out that the majority of avocado oil on the market is either adulterated or already rancid before reaching consumers, whereas Costco's oil is among the few names that pass that quality test. The neutral flavor of the oil also doesn't affect the taste of your dishes, making it suitable for searing, baking, marinating backyard barbecue meats, or tossing salads. Practically one bottle that can be used for every step in the kitchen. 11. Plain Greek yogurt. A small 5.3-ounce cup of Greek yogurt at a regular supermarket usually costs $1.25 to $1.50. Not to mention that many varieties hide sugar in the ingredients under names that are hard to recognize on the label. Costco's large 3-pound tub is thick and creamy, with a protein content that is vastly superior to regular yogurt, making it perfect not just for breakfast but also as an excellent replacement for high doses of saturated fats in your daily meals. Many people use it instead of mayonnaise in chicken or egg salads, or to replace sour cream when pairing with baked potatoes and tacos. The flavor remains rich while the calories are cut nearly in half, plus it adds beneficial probiotics for digestion. Just mixing in a bit of minced garlic, lime juice, and cilantro creates a dipping sauce that is both delicious and gentle on the whole family's blood pressure. And the leftovers can be used as a base for a grilled chicken marinade for dinner the next night. 12. Premium cheese. Costco's refrigerated section remains a spot that foodies whisper to one another about, rarely mentioned on advertising billboards. The imported cheese blocks here maintain standard commercial sizes, but the price per weight is only a half to a third of regular retail. A block of high-end Parmigiano Reggiano, to grate over pasta, or to lay out on a charcuterie board for entertaining guests, can now be purchased at a very affordable cost. Not to mention there are also brie, manchego, or smoked Gouda, for those who like to change flavors according to the season. Since hard cheeses last a long time if wrapped properly, this is an investment worth making ahead for family gatherings. Not a few people have been praised by guests for supposedly spending $100 at a high-end gourmet import shop, when in reality it only cost a small fraction of that, and the secret lies right inside the membership card sitting in your wallet. The following items could completely change the way you cook every day, only if you know how to choose the right one. 13. Kirkland hummus. Hummus is a fiber-rich snack favored by many, but familiar supermarket brands often have a strong, harsh taste or are too watery due to added cheap oils, and they come in small tubs that run out after just a few uses. The Kirkland version features a smooth, lightly rich texture that is significantly closer to authentic Middle Eastern flavor profiles than most competitors on the same shelf, including famous brands like Sabra that many people are used to buying. An interesting detail that not everyone notices. After comparing prices multiple times, the small pre-portioned cups at Costco actually have a price per ounce that is cheaper than or equal to the large tub. So, if you only snack on it occasionally or pack it for work, buying the small cups is still more advantageous without the worry of having to rush to finish it before it spoils. 14. Kirkland refrigerated pesto sauce. The pesto jar located in the Costco refrigerated section still holds the traditional recipe with Italian basil and premium cheeses, offering a large volume but priced equivalently to a small under 8-ounce jar at other chains. The richness and smoothness of the sauce help complete a restaurant-quality plate of pasta in just 10 minutes. Or it can be spread on sandwiches, used as a sauce for roasted vegetables, brushed onto bread before toasting to make a quick bruschetta, or mixed with a spoonful into morning scrambled eggs to make the aroma pop significantly compared to conventional cooking. 15. Better than bouillon food base. Canned or boxed broths take up quite a lot of kitchen cabinet space and have a short shelf life after opening, while the liquid content usually outweighs the actual essence. On the other hand, traditional bouillon cubes are overly salty and contain a fair amount of artificial MSG. Better than bouillon, in its concentrated paste form, solves both of these problems at the same time. A single small jar can make up to 38 quarts of broth, which is equivalent to 38 large cartons. This both saves costs and frees up storage space in an already cramped kitchen. It is also very convenient to carry along when camping or traveling for extended periods because you don't have to worry about spills like you would with liquid broth cartons. Aside from the familiar beef and chicken flavors, The organic vegetable-based version, which is quite rare to find in regular supermarkets outside, frequently appears on Costco shelves at a very soft price point. Just a single teaspoon is enough to give a pot of soup a naturally sweet flavor profile, as if it were simmered with bones for hours, without needing any other seasonings. 16. Pistachio cream. The recent wave of baking and sweets trending online has pushed pistachio cream to become the new star on the shelves, featuring a smooth, rich texture that calls to mind the way Nutella took the market by storm decades ago. This item is indeed delicious, and many people even buy a few jars to use as holiday gifts because the packaging is quite eye-catching. However, the price is noticeably higher than regular nut butters, and the concentrated sugar and calorie content inside is at a level worth noting for anyone monitoring their portion sizes. Costco's large jar can easily become a waste if not used frequently, or conversely, it will break your sugar reduction plans after just a few spoonfuls spread on your morning toast. Therefore, you should consider buying just the right amount needed instead of stocking up out of bulk shopping habits. Right in the next aisle is a bag of sweets considered to be among the most addictive at Costco, and not everyone knows the way to avoid getting carried away by it. 17. Mixed nut and chocolate snack. The flavor experts at Costco understand exactly how to pamper customers' palates. The richness of macadamia nuts and the subtle saltiness of sea salt caramel, all coated in a layer of rich chocolate, create a snack that ranks among the most addictive on the shelves, to the point where many parents have to hide it deep in the kitchen cabinets to save it for themselves rather than for the kids. The biggest trap lies in the mindset of eating just a little bit more, whereas with a large-size snack bag, portion control becomes nearly impossible once you open the zipper. Calculating the price per ounce, this premium snack line is by no means cheap, so if your initial goal was to save money, the speed at which the candy bag disappears after a few movie nights will prove the exact opposite. 18. Costco gas station. One of the fastest and most practical ways to claw back the value of your annual membership card is to remember to swing by the Costco gas pumps, where the price is always lower than outside by 20 cents to 40 cents per gallon. And this margin is often even more pronounced during national spikes in gas prices. Combining a fill-up before going inside to buy wholesale-priced medications at the pharmacy and picking up a few everyday essentials, you are running an entire closed-loop savings process in a single trip. Just the margin saved from gas and medication money over 3 months is enough to offset the entire maintenance cost of the membership card for a whole year. That is why many people view this gas station as a quiet reward that few pay attention to when calculating the value of the card they carry with them. Not every item carrying a Kirkland logo or sitting in the markdown section is worth putting into your cart. There are 4 familiar names that even longtime Costco shoppers frequently buy by mistake. Entertainment media and book section. Walking past stacks of brand new releases by best-selling authors or neatly arranged video game cases always holds an irresistible pull, and Costco cleverly creates the impression that these are exclusive deals reserved strictly for members. However, the essence of Costco's wholesale model works best in high-volume industries. When it comes to books and media, they do not have enough leverage to drive prices below those of e-commerce platforms. A new novel by Stephen King or James Patterson here is typically $3 to $5 more expensive compared to ordering it on Amazon for doorstep delivery. Not to mention, if you are used to listening to audiobooks, monthly audiobook subscriptions are far cheaper than purchasing each book individually. Bulk dried spices. 6 months is the maximum time frame for a jar of dried spices to retain its full aroma before the essential oils begin to evaporate, regardless of whether the jar is large or small, and including familiar varieties like paprika or cumin. A 1-pound jar of garlic powder or ground pepper at Costco for just a few dollars looks like an absolute steal compared to the tiny bottles at regular supermarkets. However, unless your household cooks heavily seasoned meals for a dozen people or you are running a restaurant, the majority of that large spice jar will have to be thrown out halfway before you can finish it. Looking at the long run, dropping $6 to $8 on a giant jar only to toss half of it is far more expensive than spending $1.25 on a small, perfectly portioned bottle at Dollar Tree or from the store brand spice aisle at Aldi, where inventory always moves quickly and retains its freshness. The next question that arises is very simple. Between buying in bulk to save money and the risk of having to throw away half due to spoilage, that boundary is much thinner than you think. Bulk fresh produce in sealed bags. Have you ever opened your refrigerator crisper drawer only to find that the bottom of the giant salad bag purchased from Costco has already turned brown and mushy, even though you bought it less than a week ago? That isn't necessarily due to poor storage on your part, but rather the exact packaging method of this type of produce. Bags of pre-cut broccoli florets or mixed salads in Costco's refrigerated produce room easily tempt healthy eaters, especially since the packaging usually highlights that it is pre-washed and ready to eat. However, fresh produce has rigid shelf life constraints. When sealed tight in a large plastic bag, moisture builds up very quickly during transit, creating an ideal environment for bacteria and mold to thrive even if you put it away in the fridge the moment you get home. A family of 3 once shared that, even though they eat salad frequently, it is still difficult to finish the mixed greens bag before the bottom layer starts to discolor and get watery. As a result, many people now only buy fresh produce based on their weekly needs at small local supermarkets nearby. Brand name laundry detergents without discounts. Many people carry an underlying belief that buying at Costco is always the cheapest option, and the laundry detergent aisle is exactly where that belief is most easily shaken. A giant jug of Tide detergent or a massive tub of Cascade dishwasher pods on the shelf always looks highly worthwhile. However, the regular price of major brands here is rarely the best deal on the market, as they still have to maintain profit margins for global advertising campaigns broadcasted on television every day. Buying at regular price here also means missing out on the stacking coupon systems that chains like Target, Kroger, or Publix run frequently, such as typical promotions like buy 2 jugs and get a gift card, combined with digital coupons on their apps. Otherwise, you should switch to the Kirkland Signature line. Its cleaning quality is rated by multiple consumer organizations as equivalent, but the price point is always significantly softer. The next time you swing by Costco, try doing exactly small things. Hit the gas station before coming in to shop, and take a quick stroll through the clothing clearance section, even if you don't plan on buying anything. Just those simple habits are enough to turn a regular grocery trip into a significant savings experience. Amidst the massive wave of clearance deals sweeping through Costco shelves this week, blindly grabbing these 4 crowd-favorite products will cause your receipt to skyrocket unreasonably. Check this out right now so you don't miss out on 40 deals that are actually worth your money. You'd be awesome if you subscribe and like this video. 1. Greenworks Lawnmower. A name-brand electric lawnmower for $29.97 sounds more like a pricing misprint than an actual deal, but that is exactly the price Costco is selling it for this week. This amount is even lower than a single professional lawn care service visit, and since it's electric, you won't have to worry about filling it with gas or routine engine maintenance. It's perfect for small yards or to keep as a backup mower. 2. iPack 2-piece hardside luggage set. Breaking down to only about $40 a piece, this is probably the best value for money item this week. It features a hard shell frame, smooth spinner wheels, and sturdy telescoping handles, plenty durable for both short business trips and extended vacations. Anyone with plans to travel this summer or preparing for the year-end holiday season should grab this early, because these items are flying off the shelves by the hour. 3. LG 55-inch OLED TV. The perfect black levels and picture sharpness of LG's OLED technology are beyond dispute. A price tag under $1,000 for a newer model 55-inch TV is a rare opportunity to upgrade your living room before the year-end sports season or family movie nights, especially when compared to buying equivalent OLED models at other electronics chains, where the price for the exact same display technology is usually noticeably higher. 4. Greenworks Hedge Trimmer and Leaf Blower Combo. It works out to only about $100 per tool, which is perfect for households that already have their own lawnmower but still lack the tools to clean up dry leaves and trim bushes around the hedges during the summer. Since it shares the same battery platform with other Greenworks tools, you don't need to buy separate batteries, saving you a significant amount of money in the long run while saving you from having to store multiple types of chargers in your garage. 5. Greenworks Complete Lawnmower and Yard Care System. If you need to replace your entire lineup of yard equipment in a single purchase, This is the most economical choice this week. The lawnmower, trimmer, and leaf blower all share the same battery ecosystem, meaning you only need to charge one type of battery for all devices. If you were to buy each item separately at Home Depot or Lowe's, the total cost would hardly be under $700 to $800. So bundling them together into a set like this saves you a substantial amount right from your initial investment. 6. No-spill 5-gallon gas can. This is a basic item, but I think every garage should have one as a backup for generators or other gas-powered equipment, especially during the summer when the risk of power outages due to grid overload or severe thunderstorms runs high. The safety locking valve prevents spills and helps minimize gasoline odors from lingering in the garage. The typical market price for a similar capacity runs between $22 and $25. 7. Interlocking deck and patio tiles. If you want to renovate your balcony or patio without hiring a contractor to build a wooden deck, these tile slabs feature simple interlocking snaps that you can easily assemble yourself in a single afternoon. Plus, they drain water very well during sudden summer rain showers. The price is about 35% cheaper than similar products at specialty hardware stores, and you can easily disassemble them to pack away if you move houses down the road. 8. Sun Villa Outdoor Side Table. The weight is the most valuable selling point of this table. It is heavy enough to withstand sudden summer storms without flipping over or breaking the items placed on top, which is a far cry from many cheap outdoor table models I've seen get blown away by the wind. Its UV resistance and fade resistance are also quite good. 9. Tyson Crispy Chicken Strips. This item used to be a go-to choice for busy weeknight dinners, but I've noticed quite a few customers recently reporting that the quality of this club-sized bag of chicken has dropped significantly compared to before. Instead of thick pieces of chicken breast, most buyers are finding mostly breadcrumb crumbs, a low meat-to-breading ratio, and a spongy, gristly texture, which has dragged its ratings on the Costco website down quite low over the past few months. If you still want to buy frozen breaded chicken, the Just Bare lightly breaded line right on the next shelf is getting much better reviews, and I think it's worth switching over to try. 10. Annie's Organic Fruit Snacks. What I love about these snacks is their clean, dry texture. They aren't sticky on your hands or easily crumbly like many other almond cookies I've tried before. Each pouch is locked in at just 100 calories, so you can carry them with you without any guilt. You can even leave them in your car's glove compartment under the sun all day without worrying about them melting into a mushy mess like regular gummies or chocolates. 11. Jelly Belly Signature 30 Collection. This classic candy item just made its way back to the shelves, but it brings along a change that I don't think everyone will notice at first glance. The bag has been quietly downsized from 4 pounds to 3 pounds, and the number of flavors has also dropped from 49 to 30, while the retail price remains virtually unchanged. If you are used to buying this out of habit, you should double-check the weight printed on the packaging before tossing it into your cart like you usually do. 12. Olipop Low Sugar Soda. Olipop is well known for taking a different route in the beverage industry by trying to retain that familiar, delicious soda taste while cutting out most of the inherent sugar content. The 3 flavors, strawberry, vanilla, and raspberry, are all easy to drink and lack that harsh, chemically sweet aftertaste common in many other diet sodas. This time around, the price is cut in half from the original MSRP. And I've noticed the inventory on the bulk pallet is thinning out pretty fast because many people are buying entire cases to stock up for the summer without having to stress over gaining weight. 13. Built Sour Puffs Protein Puffs. This snack satisfies your sweet tooth while refueling your energy post-workout, making it perfect for you if you work out regularly but still want a guilt-free snack. At specialized supplement chains outside, I usually see similar items priced at least 30% higher. 14. Limoncello White Chocolate-Covered Almonds. I was quite surprised by how the light lemon flavor of the limoncello blends with the white chocolate layer without feeling cloying at all, unlike what I initially imagined. The 24-ounce bag is plenty to nibble on all week long alongside a cup of afternoon tea, making it a great fit if you prefer a subtle, clean sweetness rather than an overly intense one. 15. Mango Coconut Almond Cookies. Each pack is portioned out to just 100 calories, And the dry texture means you can keep them in your car's glove box under the sun without worrying about them melting like regular gummies or traditional chocolate, making them very convenient to bring along on long road trips. 16. Green Power Bowl Nutrition Bowls. This 8-pack set is completely dairy-free and gluten-free, making it perfect for busy office lunches when you need a nutrient-dense meal that won't give you that heavy, sluggish feeling in the afternoon. Each bowl is individually packaged for easy grab-and-go convenience, and you just need to heat it up to eat right away, whether you are working from home or bringing it into the office. If your household has ever lost power in the dead of summer without any backup plan, the next section might be the most worthwhile part of this video to read. 17. Previous generation Bose Bluetooth speaker. The latest version is currently selling for $179.99 right on the adjacent shelf, so picking up this previous generation model will save you $100. Meanwhile, the sound quality, which is Bose's core strength, has no noticeably obvious difference when I tested it out firsthand at the warehouse. It packs plenty of bass response for outdoor parties. Many people are buying it as a gift or equipping it for summer camping trips, and the inventory on the shelf drops noticeably every single day I stop by. 18. A PC backup battery. Uninterruptible power supply, UPS. The hot summer months make localized power outages highly likely due to grid overloads or sudden severe thunderstorms. A backup power supply unit that can run your Wi-Fi router and home computer for up to 222 minutes will keep you connected while waiting for the main power grid to recover, while simultaneously protecting your expensive electronics from damage caused by sudden voltage spikes and power surges. 19. HP Office Printer. This printer meets almost every need in your home, from parents' remote work documents to kids' and grandkids' homework and drawings. The wireless connection is smooth, the printing speed is fast, and the ink cost is significantly more reasonable than large-scale laser models. With the back-to-school season right around the corner, demand is skyrocketing, and I've noticed the under $90 price tag has made this item highly sought after this week. 20. Blue Air Pure Mini Max Air Purifier. It breaks down to less than $35 for an air purifier from a Swedish brand well known for its durability and minimalist design. The outer fabric pre-filter is removable. You just throw it in the washing machine on a gentle cycle, which helps save money from constantly replacing pre-filters. 21. Cuisinart Multi-Cooker. This is currently marked down by half off its original $100 price tag. To be completely honest, standing over a stove in the dead of a hot summer is something nobody wants to do. This cooker handles stews, soups, or steaming automatically without heating up the entire kitchen the way you would when using a traditional open-flame stove. The non-stick coating and the inner pot still retain the inherent durability of the brand. 22. Kohler Dual Showerhead. This premium bathroom fixture brand rarely features a price tag under $100 for a dual showerhead line, which usually appears in a much higher price segment at specialty stores based on the prices I've checked. The smart water diversion valve maintains strong water pressure while still conserving water, providing a relaxing, spa-like sensation after a long day of work. 23. Moen Bathroom Faucet. The classic styling of this faucet instantly makes me think of the bathroom at my grandparents' house back in the day. But the modern chrome finish is significantly better at resisting fingerprints and hard water stains than vintage hardware. This design falls into the category of never going out of style, so whether you use it for 10 or 20 years down the road, it's hard to get tired of looking at it. At $49.97 for a reputable brand, this is a much easier buying decision compared to the Kohler Dual Showerhead just mentioned. There is a product carrying Costco's own private label that is currently sitting in the group of the most criticized items this week. It sounds a bit hard to believe, but it is the truth. 24. Kirkland Signature Frozen Pepperoni Pizza. Honestly, I was quite surprised to have to put a product carrying Costco's own private label on the skip list, especially when the fresh pizzas baked right at the food court counter are always a crowd pleaser. However, this boxed frozen version is currently receiving an average rating of just 2.6 out of 5 stars. The crust edge is criticized for being as dry and hard as cardboard, while the center turns out soggy after baking, and the cheese has a rubbery texture with a slight bitterness. If you still want to eat Kirkland pizza, I highly recommend opting for the traditional cheese box version, which gets much better reviews. 25 5x7 foot area rug. This rug features a quite elegant pattern and a thick woven material. Stepping on it barefoot feels significantly softer compared to a bare hardwood floor. The $64.97 price tag is over 50% cheaper than rugs of the same size at Target or Wayfair that I've compared. One thing you need to keep in mind is that this line of rugs is spot clean only. Absolutely do not throw it in the washing machine. Therefore, if your home has elderly family members or young children running around, I think you should buy extra non-slip rug corner grippers to avoid the risk of tripping and falling. 26 Artica Half Moon Doormat. A $7 price tag is right on par with dollar stores, but I find the quality to be vastly superior. The mat is quite thick and heavy in hand, and the raised ridges trap sand, dust, and mud very well before you step fully inside the house. The half-moon size perfectly hugs the entryway, making it ideal to place right on the doorstep to save you from constantly wiping the floors after every entry, especially on rainy and windy days when the whole family goes in and out multiple times. 27 Lifetime Smart Folding Table. When you think of Lifetime, this brand's time-tested durability instantly comes to mind. The table folds in half compactly and features a carrying handle for easy portability, making it easy to slide into an SUV trunk for camping trips or tuck away neatly behind a garage door when not in use. It handles heavy loads well and won't become brittle or crack even after being left out in the sun for long periods. I think this is an item well worth investing in once to use for years without having to worry about constantly replacing it like cheap plastic tables. 28 Mikasa 3-piece picture frame set. Just the included matting in this set, by my estimation, is already worth nearly half the money you spend. The 3 color-coordinated 11x7-inch frames make it easy for you to create a family memory wall gallery without the headache of matching colors, making them perfect for hanging along the stairs or displaying on a living room console shelf. 29 Decorative ceramic LED lanterns. This 2-pack lantern set emits a soft, gentle glow, making them better suited for a display shelf or a living room console table rather than being used as primary lighting. The white ceramic material combined with the interior LED lights creates a cozy ambiance without racking up the electric bill like traditional string lights. I think this is a small item but enough to change the vibe of a corner of the house, especially perfect for those evenings when the whole family gathers around. I almost skipped over one item in the next section because I thought it was just for decoration, but it turns out the practical utility is completely different. 30 12-piece melamine dinnerware set. Premium melamine mimics porcelain quite well, offering the benefit of being lightweight in hand while completely eliminating the worry of dropped breaks. A very reasonable solution if your home has young grandkids or if you frequently dine out on the patio during the summer. This set also includes wide-rimmed bowls specifically designed for pasta, a small detail, but one that I find quite handy if your family loves cooking Italian dishes. 31 Melamine Lazy Susan Turntable Set. This turntable tray is practically the centerpiece of every outdoor BBQ party I've ever seen at family gatherings. The smooth spinning mechanism makes sharing sauces or condiments significantly easier than passing each item by hand. The included lid is the detail I appreciate the most, helping protect the food from summer insects before the whole family sits down at the table. 32 Thermoflask Tumbler. Thermoflask has long held its own place thanks to its 18/8 stainless steel material and double-wall vacuum insulation technology. What I love most about this tumbler line is that it is completely sweat-free on the exterior wall, so you don't have to worry about wetting papers on your desk or the cup holders in your car. It keeps ice cold for up to 24 hours and keeps drinks hot for 12 hours, which is quite impressive for a price tag of nearly $15 for a 2-pack set. 33 Over and Back 4-piece ceramic bowl set. At under $10 for 4 quite thick ceramic bowls, I think this is a perfect item for busy folks because they can be used completely hassle-free in both the dishwasher and the microwave without the worry of cracking or burning your hands when taking them out. The size is just right for a morning bowl of soup or an afternoon salad portion, and they stack away neatly in the kitchen cabinet without taking up much space. If your household has ever scrambled to find a flashlight in the dead of a night power outage only to find that none of them have working batteries, you will definitely need the next section. 34. Duracell flashlights. At a price tag of $19.97 for a 4-pack set, I think you should distribute each one to a different spot in the house. One in the front door console drawer, one in the garage, and one in the kitchen cabinet, so that when you need it, it's right there instead of having to tear the whole house apart in the middle of the night. The included charging dock keeps the family prepared at all times without having to spend money buying individual batteries at the store every time they run out. 35. 7,000 lumen ultra bright flashlight. The brightness of this flashlight practically challenges a pitch black night. I tested it out in the yard, and the light beam reached all the way to the furthest corner of the garden. At $26.97, having a high-power flashlight like this in the house saves your phone battery significantly whenever a sudden power outage occurs, instead of having to leave your phone's flashlight on continuously and run out of battery right when you need to communicate the most. 36. Nike Fashion Backpack. Even though it's not yet August, I think preparing early is never a waste, especially for an item that tends to sell out quickly right before the back-to-school season. At just $19.97 for a name-brand backpack, it comes in 3 classic colorways: sleek black, energetic red, and navy blue, making it suitable for all ages. The thick shoulder padding along with a dedicated shock-proof laptop compartment makes me think this is a pretty perfect gift for kids or grandkids getting ready for the new semester. 37. iPack Kids Rolling Suitcase. The most valuable selling point of this $19.97 suitcase is its ultra-lightweight design. The frame is minimalist, so that even kids aged 4 to 8 can pull it themselves without needing help from an adult. The dimensions are measured perfectly to fit a child's physique, and the alloy telescoping handle features smooth button adjustments that don't get jammed halfway through like many other cheap kids' suitcases I've seen. 38. Adidas Victory Bucket Hat. The UPF 50 ultraviolet protection rating on this $12.97 hat protects the skin on your face and neck quite well when you spend all day gardening or going to the beach. The flexible, adjustable chin strap keeps the hat from being blown away on windy days, making it a small health-protecting item at a very reasonable price. 39. Kirkland Signature Daily Facial Towelettes. The convenient flip-top design and durable fabric are features I still love about this $9.97 wet wipe line through many previous purchases. However, the refreshed version for summer is getting quite a few complaints from people because it contains a light foaming formula or a slightly stronger fragrance than the old version. Therefore, I think you should consider it carefully before buying the whole large bulk pack to use over time, even though this price is not expensive at all. 40. Vitamin C Syrup. Marked down by half from its original price of nearly $40, this immunity-boosting syrup twin pack is a pretty good opportunity for you to stock up your family medicine cabinet before the flu season approaches, especially as the weather begins to transition between seasons and young kids in the house become more prone to minor illnesses. 41. Bean Essence Cosmetic Face Mist. The fine mist spray design of this $14.97 product hydrates the skin quite quickly when it has to be exposed a lot to air conditioning or the harsh summer sun. The price is split in half for a 2-bottle set, which I find quite economical for daily use. Keeping one bottle at home and bringing one along to work is very convenient. 42. Strivectin Cream Duo. Strivectin typically belongs to the premium anti-aging segment, so it rarely features an accessible price tag, like this $24.97 deal at Costco this time around. What I noticed is that the packaging this time has been tweaked to be significantly easier to open, which is very friendly for those with weak hand joints or the elderly in the house. The daytime vitamin C combined with the nighttime retinol helps improve skin elasticity noticeably if used consistently both day and night. 43. Mrs. Meyer's Hand Soap. Marked down pretty deeply from its original price of $18 to just $11.97, the rainwater scent, in my opinion, remains the most subtle and clean aroma among all the brand's scent lines. Even when used multiple times a day, your hands won't feel dry or rough, making it perfect to keep at both the kitchen sink and the bathroom. especially for families who have a habit of washing their hands frequently after cooking or cleaning. 44. Room Diffuser Essential Oil Set. The 3 bottles in this $16.97 set feature primary scent profiles derived from natural florals and herbs, which is a far cry from the overpowering chemical-scented waxes or room sprays I've tried in the past. The aroma diffuses quite gently, feeling more like a crisp morning breeze rather than the typical heavy perfume smell, making it perfect for your bedroom or living room on evenings when you need to unwind. Smart shopping at Costco is not about how many items you pile into your cart, but knowing when to pass on products that have dropped in quality. Check your receipts from the past month and compare them with today's list. You might very well be able to claim a surprising price adjustment refund. Have you ever looked at the Costco bakery section and wondered which items are actually worth buying? Not everything that's popular is as good as people claim, and there are also a few hidden gems that don't get enough attention. Today, we're going through a ranked list of the most loved items at the Costco bakery, from lowest to highest, so you'll know exactly what's worth trying and what you can skip. Take 3 seconds to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. "15 Plain Bagels. Costco's plain bagels are a basic, practical choice when you want something quick, convenient, and available in bulk. The flavor is fine, totally edible, but there's nothing particularly special or standout about them compared to bagels from dedicated bakeries. The texture is dense, the flavor is mild, and they work best for simple breakfasts, spreading cream cheese, making a deli sandwich, or grabbing one with your morning coffee when you're in a rush. Their biggest strength is convenience. If you like buying in bulk, want something you can freeze and use gradually, or are already at Costco and don't want to stop at another store, these bagels make sense. Just toast them to warm them up, add your favorite spread, and you've got an easy breakfast. But if you're hoping for a bagel with a crisp outer crust, a softer interior, a richer aroma, and that fresh-baked quality, your local bagel shop will almost always do it better. Costco's bagels are simply good enough. Convenient, easy to buy, but not the kind of item you'd make a special trip just to get. 14 Mantecada Muffins. Costco's Mantecada muffins look great. Golden, fluffy, and lightly buttery. But the flavor doesn't quite deliver the same rustic charm as the traditional versions sold at Mexican bakeries. Because they're made on an industrial scale, the texture is still soft, but the taste isn't very distinctive. You'll get a mild buttery sweetness, but not that signature depth many people love in classic mantecadas. One drawback is the added preservatives that extend shelf life. It's convenient if you're buying a multi-pack, but it also makes the flavor feel less natural. On top of that, the calorie and fat content are pretty high, so if you prefer a lighter breakfast, this might not be the best option. That said, if you enjoy soft, mildly sweet pastries and need something quick to eat with milk or coffee in the morning, Costco's Mantecada muffins will get the job done. They fall into the easy-to-buy, easy-to-eat category, especially when you're feeding several people. 13. Braided Apple Strudel. Costco's braided apple strudel is one of those items people often walk past, but it's actually worth trying if you like light, easy-to-eat pastries. The braided crust bakes up nicely, especially if you warm it in the oven or air fryer, with a lightly crispy texture. The apple filling is mildly sweet, slightly gooey, and has a gentle cinnamon aroma that makes the whole thing comforting and enjoyable. Think of it like a more convenient grab-and-go version of an apple pie. A box comes with 8 pieces, each a good size for breakfast, an afternoon snack, or a simple dessert when guests come over. It's also very budget-friendly given how many pastries you get, especially around the holidays when people want extra treats to put on the table. The sweetness level is on the higher side, so if you're not into sweet pastries, you might want to skip it. But paired with vanilla ice cream or a drizzle of caramel, this becomes a great option for anyone who enjoys a rich, fragrant pastry. If you prefer something lighter, simply warming it and enjoying it with tea or coffee is more than enough. 12. Baguette. Costco's baguette is a great option for anyone who likes simple, easy-to-eat bread that pairs well with dinner. The crust has a light crisp, and the inside is soft and airy, the kind of classic baguette you can use as is or turn into a variety of dishes. If you're making pasta or soup or need something to dip into sauces, this baguette does the job perfectly. Its biggest strength is convenience. Just bring it home, slice it, warm it for a few minutes, and you've got a fresh, fragrant loaf ready for the table. When you're feeding a large family or hosting a small gathering, the long baguette shape is also practical and saves time. That said, compared to baguettes from artisan bakeries, Costco's version does fall a bit short in aroma, and that signature light chew. Because it's mass-produced, the flavor is consistent but not especially remarkable. So, if you're looking for something extra fresh, deeply wheat fragrant, and with a more crackly crust, your local bakery will likely deliver a better experience. 11. Mini chocolate chip cookies. Costco's mini chocolate chip cookies are small, lightly crisp, and easy to snack on. Perfect for moments when you want something sweet but not too heavy. The flavor is well-balanced, moderately sweet and buttery, with a slight saltiness that rounds everything out. Even though they're crisp cookies, they're not hard or dry. They crumble nicely and feel more pleasant to eat than many packaged cookies. Because of their small size, you can enjoy a few without feeling overloaded with sugar. They're great for kids, afternoon snacks, or serving guests when you need something simple that most people will like. If you want a twist, just warm them slightly to soften the chocolate or pair them with a cold glass of milk. Their strongest advantage is convenience. They're easy to share, easy to store, and suitable for many situations, whether you're prepping snacks for the family or keeping a quick treat in the pantry. They're not an overwhelmingly special item, but they're reliable, enjoyable, and worth buying whenever you want a grab-anytime cookie that works for everyone. 10. Cinnamon Pull-Apart. Costco's Cinnamon Pull-Apart is the kind of item that makes people stop as they walk by the bakery section. The cinnamon aroma fills the whole area. At first glance, it looks like one large pastry topped with a light layer of icing. But once you pull apart the pieces, it has all the qualities of a soft, moist, sweet cinnamon roll. When warmed for a few minutes, the icing melts slightly into the bread, making each bite even softer and easier to enjoy. The flavor is sweet but not overwhelmingly sugary, rich enough to feel indulgent yet not heavy. It's a great pick for weekend breakfasts, afternoon treats, or sharing when guests come over. Many people like pairing it with coffee or tea because the balance between the sweetness and the cinnamon makes it feel lighter. Its convenience is another plus. You can pull it apart by hand with no knife needed, and each piece is soft and evenly coated with icing and cinnamon. However, if you're not used to sweet pastries, you might find it a bit rich, so it's best enjoyed warm and in smaller portions. Overall, the cinnamon pull-apart hits that just right spot. Simple, comforting, easy to serve, and satisfying. It's not the kind of item you'll buy every Costco trip, but it's perfect when you want something soft, warm, fragrant, and reminiscent of a classic cinnamon roll. 9. Triple Flavor Cookie Combo. Costco's Triple Flavor Cookie Combo feels a lot more fun and convenient than a standard box of cookies. You get 3 varieties in one pack: chocolate chunk, double nuts, and oatmeal, each with its own flavor profile. This makes it easy for everyone in the family or friend group to pick something they like. It's also why this combo is a popular choice for gatherings, parties, or anytime you need a quick snack to share. The texture is consistently good, slightly crisp on the outside and soft and moist on the inside. The chocolate chunk has large chocolate pieces for a richer flavor. The double nuts cookie has a buttery, nutty bite, and the oatmeal cookie is the lightest and easiest to eat. Warm them up for a few minutes and all 3 taste even better, especially the chocolate chunk, as the chocolate begins to melt. The biggest advantage of this combo is variety. If you don't want a huge box of just one flavor or need something that suits multiple preferences, this is a safe bet. They're easy to pair too. Eat them as is, serve with vanilla ice cream for a quick dessert, or pack a few cookies for work or school. 8. Sheet cake. Costco's sheet cake is widely known as the safe and effective choice when you need a cake for a crowd. The large size, simple decoration, and budget-friendly price make it a go-to option for birthdays, family gatherings, and small events. At around $20 for a cake that serves dozens, it's almost impossible to find a better deal elsewhere. The flavor is reliably good. a soft cake layer with sweet but balanced frosting that most people enjoy. It's not fancy, not overly rich, and not meant to be. The goal is a cake that everyone can eat without complaints. This makes hosting easier because you don't have to worry about who likes what. Another major plus is convenience. You can walk up to the bakery and grab a ready-made cake or place an order if you want a custom message. Because Costco makes these in large batches, they're almost always available the same day, perfect when you're in a hurry. Of course, if you're looking for a multi-tier cake, special fillings, or elaborate designs, a specialty bakery will do better. But when you need a big cake that's affordable, easy to serve, and perfectly presentable for any party, Costco's sheet cake almost always delivers the best value. 7. Tuxedo Chocolate Mousse Cake, Costco's Tuxedo. Chocolate mousse cake is one of those desserts that impresses the moment you slice into it. The cake is built in layers, a soft brownie base, alternating layers of dark and white chocolate mousse, and a glossy chocolate ganache on top. When you eat it, the layers blend together smoothly, rich in chocolate flavor but not as heavy as many traditional chocolate cakes. Its biggest strength is the texture. The mousse is light, soft, and easy to eat, while the brownie layer adds structure without making the cake overly sweet. Even people who usually avoid rich desserts can enjoy a slice without feeling overwhelmed. The size is just right too, typically serving around 10 people, which makes it ideal for small parties or for sharing. Compared to chocolate mousse cakes from specialty bakeries, Costco's version offers strong value, consistent flavor, and broad appeal. Just keep it chilled until serving. No extra decorating needed. It already looks polished enough to put straight on the table. 6. Cheese and cherry pastry. Costco's cheese and cherry pastry has a nicely balanced flavor, especially if you enjoy desserts that mix light creaminess with a bit of fruit. The pastry itself is soft and slightly fluffy, while the cheese filling is smooth, lightly sweet, and not heavy at all. Paired with the cherry center, the overall flavor becomes even more balanced. A little tartness to cut the richness, making it easy to eat even if you're not usually a fan of cheese pastries. This pastry works especially well for breakfast or brunch. A quick warm-up makes the filling softer, the aroma stronger, and the fruit flavor blend more naturally with the pastry. It also looks great on the table when you have guests, colorful, appealing, and ready to serve without any extra decoration. One of its biggest strengths is that it isn't overly sweet. Many pastries in this category tend to be on the sugary side, but Costco's version stays moderate, so you can finish a whole piece without feeling weighed down. That said, if you prefer pastries that are very tangy or very rich, this one leans toward the gentle, crowd-friendly side. Overall, the cheese and cherry pastry is a solid pick if you want something easy to eat, suitable for many people, and versatile for different situations. A fast breakfast, a light dessert, or a grab-and-go snack on a workday. It's not the most outstanding item in the bakery, but it's definitely worth trying if you enjoy soft, creamy pastries with a touch of fruit. 5. Kirkland Cheesecake. Costco's Kirkland Cheesecake is one of the most reliable desserts you can bring home when you have guests or need a no-fail option. It's thick, smooth, and sturdy, with a slightly crisp crust that adds nice balance to each bite. The sweetness is moderate, the cream cheese flavor is rich but not heavy, and even people who don't usually like cheesecake can enjoy a slice comfortably. What people love most is its consistency. No matter when you buy it, the texture is nearly the same every time. Soft, moist, not dry, and not overly dense. You can enjoy it plain or dress it up with strawberry jam, blueberry compote, or fresh fruit for a fresher, brighter flavor. Considering its size and price, it's a great value for family gatherings, small parties, or as a dessert to bring when you're invited to dinner. It's also extremely versatile. You can pre-slice and freeze it, then thaw a piece whenever you need a quick dessert. If you want to get creative, use it as a base for dessert cups or pair it with whipped cream for a different texture and flavor experience. 4. Chocolate mini cakes. Costco's chocolate mini cakes are small, but feel much richer and more satisfying than a typical cupcake. The size is modest, yet the cake itself is dense and moist, topped with a generous layer of chocolate frosting. Together, they taste like a mini slice of chocolate cake, full flavor in a compact portion. The cake is soft and moist without being crumbly, and the frosting is smooth and sweet but not overwhelming, perfect for anyone who loves chocolate without wanting something overly heavy. They're incredibly convenient when you need a quick dessert for a family dinner or a small birthday, or just want something sweet on hand after meals. Each box usually comes with 6 cakes, easy to share without cutting, plating, or decorating. Just open the box and set them out. They already look appealing enough on their own. For an even better experience, chill them slightly to firm up the frosting, or leave them at room temperature if you prefer a softer bite. The chocolate flavor is balanced, not too bitter, not too sugary, making them a safe, crowd-pleasing